everyone. Welcome to the Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic podcast. With us, your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We'll watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it. And a reminder, probably an important reminder for this episode, we may possibly bring up things as we discuss this episode that happen in future episodes. Because why? Because this is not a spoiler-free podcast. It's not spoiler-free. It's not spoiler-free. That's it. All right. I am Melissa, and I'm here with my scintillating co-host, Fish.
Scintillating. Fish. I like all these new adjectives that you're coming up for.
You can see I was not confident what word I put out there, but I said it. Fish, how are you doing today? Are you indeed scintillating?
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. This was an episode of Felicity.
Sure was.
There was a lot going on in this episode. For the listeners, we unfortunately did not get to watch this one together. So we are just, we're just starting off. We don't know each other's reactions this time.
Nope. It's like we're just meeting each other.
Exactly. What's your name again?
I am Melissa, and I'm here with my scintillating co-host, Fish.
That's who I am.
Yeah. Well, what are we talking about today? This was an episode, but which one was it? This was season 2, episode 19, called Running Mates. It originally aired April 26th, 2000. It was written by Josh Reams, however you say that. And it was directed by Robert M. Williams Jr., whose name has come up. Both of their names actually have been coming up quite a bit in season 2. And here's the description. Ben thinks Greg's friend is vandalizing Felicity's campaign posters and urges her to reveal Greg's past arrest. But Greg denies any wrongdoing, and Felicity refuses to believe Ben or start personal attacks. Meanwhile, Ruby tells Noel she hasn't told the baby's father that she's pregnant, and Tracy upsets Elena when he bails in the middle of a makeout session. I feel like that description was trying to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
They specifically leave out a couple of really important things, but I think that's okay if you're, trying to get people to watch a show.
No, it's good they don't, spoil the episode in the description.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But at least it does sound like maybe they actually watched this episode.
I feel that this resembles what we watched. Yes.
Yeah. So, there's a first for everything.
Yeah, and this is it.
Yep.
So, all right. This was an episode. Where did you want to start with this episode?
I figured, most of the episode was actually focused around the election stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we can start there and then circle back on the Tracy, Elena, Ruby, Noel storylines.
Okay.
So I'd like to start with Javier, who's illegally handing out coupons for people to vote for Felicity because she's special.
I'm assuming this is Dean and DeLuca coupons.
I assume so.
Yes.
They could just be like back rubs, but I don't know that would be against the rules.
But come get your fruitless Danish.
Yeah.
For free. Yeah.
Or come and get your scoop of fruit out of a Danish. 1 scoop per person.
I like that. It's amazing how long that's continued to be a thing for us when nobody ever noticed it the first time. So Felicity sees Javier handing out these coupons. She's like, well, Javier, stop it. That's not allowed. You can't do that. Stop it. Because she's about the rules right now.
Yeah. She's like, we have to obey all the campaign rules. We're not gonna, get our hands dirty or break any rules. This is a very young and naive Felicity at the beginning of this episode.
She sure is. Boy, she comes a long way as this episode goes along, doesn't she? What hasn't come a long way, Fish?
Felicity's recognition that her friend has passed and will never return her tapes ever again.
Consider yourself fortunate you weren't watching this episode with me. Because not only was there a Sally tape, like a tape that she left to Sally,
Yeah.
but so much of this episode was a voiceover of the tape she was leaving to Sally. And
it was like the whole episode.
Throwing highlighters across the room. I was rioting. It was a one-person riot, and it was brutal. Okay.
I was sad that I was so sad I was not here to listen to this, because I just wrote "Dear Sally!" exclamation point, and then just like laughed for 10 minutes.
What is their decision making process here in the writer's room for when they do decide to use it and when they don't?
The decision is we want to do this with exposition.
The decision is some of us have been watching the show as it's been airing in season 2, and some of us have only seen episodes from season 1, and we're still trying to write this show. Shame on them. I can't handle this. I can't handle it. Especially when they don't even have Felicity leaving these tapes every episode. Come on. Okay.
We didn't even see like a tape recorder this time. It was just a voiceover. They've gotten rid of the tape recorder. Maybe.
Yeah. What she's saying to Sally is super important.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of. The point of what she's saying is losing can't be as hard as running.
Yeah, I mean it's getting brutal already.
Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, she's telling this story about like an election that happened when she was a younger school age person, and it was this whole thing about this guy who probably should have played dirty and then wasn't playing dirty and he lost.
Stephen and Billy in 4th grade.
Yeah,
that comes a little later. So she does say, losing should be easy compared to running.
Yeah.
And then we just see this giant picture of her with her lovely haircut, and it just says Chia Head.
Yeah, this is the moniker that somebody's scrawling over her posters. Chia Head.
That's funny.
Now, Fish, are Chia Pets still a thing?
I think so, and there was a Chia Head at one point. I don't know if they're still selling that, but I'm pretty sure like if we went on Amazon, we could find one. And I never ever see commercials anymore because I like DVR through them or I watch stuff on my computer. But were I to watch commercials, I would think I would see them.
I imagine that most of the people who still fondly remember this show or are listening to this podcast are probably people who were cognizant of the Chia Pet and Chia Head commercials as they were happening. But for those who don't have the extreme pleasure of knowing that product, it's the pottery that grows.
Yeah.
Chia. That's it. That's all you need to know. So it was pottery in the shape of something. You water it, and then a plant grows out of it.
But like this sort of like, how do you describe it? It only grows like, I don't know.
Because they have like little holes in the pottery. Yeah, like
it only goes like half an inch above the pottery, so it like sticks out of their head if it's a head, or it sticks out of the back. And that was what was always in the picture. It was like the nicely like half-inch Chia Head or Chia Pet.
Yes. And so this is where this insult came from.
Yes.
And boy, is that a trip down memory lane.
I mean, people were, let's say, a little bit more creative with Chia Head than they were with what they did to Richard, which was just set his flyers on fire. Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a conversation that starts between Richard and Felicity, but we're pretty much seeing everybody is having issues with vandalism. And so Richard comes up and they're having this conversation about which of his things were vandalized, and obviously we know that Felicity stuff is being vandalized. And we're just kind of
They make a funny joke about soft money in national elections,
Mm-hmm.
which is not as funny today.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they don't know what that means. We can just go past that.
Fair
If you
enough.
want to know, you can look it up.
Yeah. Fair
It's not
enough.
good.
Okay. That seems fair. Well, so we're going to sort of keep setting the stage here because it turns out Felicity's getting some support for her campaign from some of her friends, including
Yeah,
Ben.
yes. Ben Ben walks up, on this conversation and says he's kind of talking to Felicity. He's like, saw this guy. He had like a red hat on, and I've seen him hanging out with Greg, and he's the guy who's defacing your posters.
I chased him down the
And
street.
he chased him for 2 blocks.
Yeah,
And
he
when we
chased him.
actually see like a size comparison between these two,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing that Andre ran.
Yeah.
His name is Andre.
Yeah, we're going to learn that soon.
He's a little guy.
Yeah. So Felicity, and this is going to be a refrain that comes up over and over again from different people, but Felicity's like, nope, Greg wouldn't do that. Nope,
No,
Greg can't. That's not a thing. Nope,
there's
nope,
just no
nope.
way. He
Mm-mm.
absolutely would never even think to have Andre deface her posters.
Yeah. And Ben's all like, oh, so you believe Greg, huh? But not
She's
me.
like, yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe you didn't see it right. Maybe, I don't know. I believe Greg. Believe in Greg. Greg wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
So,
And they basically kick Richard out of the conversation, and this goes on. And then we switch to, I just have to point this out. We get this, we're clearly going to a new place, and we pan across this weird ass pigeon statue that we've never seen before. It's just statue of a pigeon, like in a wall, and you pan over and you see Felicity walking up some steps. Then we got to pan back across the weird ass pigeon, and then we can get on with our lives. But like, I had to pause because weird ass pigeon statue.
yeah, sometimes it happens. Well, before we left that prior scene, though, Richard has a line
Mm.
that I imagine he made a meal of. Politics. It's a hardcore, tough ass world, isn't it?
Yep. He wants to leave them with some reality that he knows.
Yeah. And then pigeon.
And then weird ass pigeon
Mm-hmm.
statue.
Yep. Yep. Well,
Mhm.
whatever you've taken away from that, whatever that pigeon is a symbol for you, you just simmer on that one for a moment as we
Mm-mm.
go to the health center.
Yeah. Health center, we see Greg with a guy
Mm-hmm.
in a red hat. Is it the same guy in a red hat? Is it a different guy in a red hat? All we see is a guy in a red hat. His name is Andre.
Yeah, which Greg will name him in this scene.
Yes.
Felicity, for Felicity, seeing a guy in a red hat talking to Greg does harken back to a certain something Ben might have just told her. And
Mhm.
so she approaches Greg and she basically just straight away confronts him. She's like, well, she mentioned that maybe she saw Andre because she's trying to protect Ben's identity at this point.
Is she really protecting Ben?
I don't know. I feel
Remember the
like,
last time she said other people to Greg?
well, I think by specifically lying and saying she, I guess she's hoping not to. Because the thing is, if he thinks it's Ben, then this whole conversation becomes useless and
Yeah.
disputable.
But
And
he's going to go
so,
off on her, not on
mhm,
Ben.
yeah.
So it's like
So,
she's really protecting herself here.
yeah.
Being like, oh, yeah, my friend who is a girl and is definitely not Ben.
Saw Andre drawn on some posters, some of my posters specifically. And Greg, this might seem familiar, is like, no, no, no.
Mm-mm.
Andre wouldn't do that. Andre's cool. I know Andre. Not a thing. This is not a thing.
He's a friend. He's a friend. He's a great guy. Wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, so there you have it. We have set up that they're taking the same exact stance on this. And
Mhm.
Greg deflects and he's like, you know what? Maybe we should do another date. Maybe let's go away for the weekend after the election.
Yeah, I liked how he did this. He says, basically let's day after the election we'll take a weekend trip. And then in the same breath, he's like, too soon? Like he just completely undermines himself. He's just like, want to go away for the weekend? Too soon?
Yeah.
And Felicity's like, yeah, too soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why did you bother, Greg?
Yeah. I
Huh.
and this may be too soon for me to jump in with this, especially not knowing exactly what your opinions were coming out of this episode, but I think I might need to apologize to Greg for potentially skewing your thoughts to expect something terrible from Greg in this episode because I
Yeah, I did
think
not. I did not. I mean, we will get into some things,
we'll
but
get
like,
into some things, but
I
if there are people
didn't.
who are getting ready for me to like let it rip on Greg, I think I need to apologize because bad stuff happens. Greg didn't do it.
I mean, Greg did some of it, but like everybody
Yeah.
was doing it.
It's
Um,
yeah, I think I don't know. I think I over that was maybe overblown in my memory a little bit, but I there is a definitively not great thing that happens here and it's not Greg's action. So I
yeah,
um
correct.
okay, so I
Or
just wanted
Greg
to take your temperature
will.
on that.
Yeah, I was not. I was expecting, for Greg to come off a little worse, and
I
and
think
he
I had
didn't.
like sort of greased the wheels for that to happen for you. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't like
No.
totally color that for you, but we will unpack it as we go and see if
Uh,
we can find things to.
here's the thing. There are a lot of people in this episode who do not great things.
Yeah, everybody.
So, like, we are going to introduce at the end of this episode a new segment. We have decided that the what the
What the
glove,
glove did they say? It's over.
yeah,
That's the last time you're ever going to hear that intro or outro music, guys.
yeah. I mean, unless you go back and listen to one of the other episodes.
That's true.
Um, but it was getting a little stale. I mean, pretty much we knew every word was going to be something along the lines of, dead rabbits or
Yeah.
something to do with sheep or, you know, um, and and I think we're going to move on. So we have a new segment. It's called "You're the Worst,"
Yeah.
and I will just be picking someone um, who's really the worst
Okay.
in each episode, and we'll talk about that a little more later. But
Yeah.
I had like
A
a
plethora of
plethora
options.
of
Yeah.
options. Yeah, I had a veritable cornucopia of not great people and actions
Mm-hmm.
to work from.
Sure did.
So any number of people could have been featured in the You're the Worst. However, I do think I picked the worst.
Okay.
Um, so Felicity and Greg are standing here. They both decided it's too soon for the weekend trip, and then they are going to be vaguely threatened by an Asian guy
Keith.
who, oh, we have his name. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
good.
You have to kind of check people's posters to find names in some cases.
Yeah. So she does the detective work. I'm just like, vaguely threatening Asian guy.
Okay.
Um,
Who I gave a name to. Let the
yeah,
record show.
you did.
Yeah.
I refuse to acknowledge that. And he has had his website hacked. I don't know why he thought either Greg or Felicity could hack a website
I don't know
because
why he had a website. Would you people have websites for college elections,
I
especially
wouldn't
at this
think
time?
so. In 2000, I wouldn't have thought so. But not only does he have a site, somebody has hacked it. So that's pretty like I don't
Yeah,
know,
this
technologically forward.
sure is. This is not your run of the mill vandalism.
Yeah.
I was confused by the whole thing because I got stuck on like he has a website.
Well, I mean,
Um,
Noel has a website. I mean, you can have a website.
you could, yeah.
It's when a lot of people were learning how to make websites as like part of like a class or, you know,
Fair
this
enough.
is going to be the future. I'm sure it probably did not look that great to start with.
Yeah.
So
It was just like a black screen that said vote for Keith in like
could have been.
some lettering of some sort. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's not something that I would have expected to be standard across all candidates at that point.
Yeah.
But
Mm-mm.
okay. So, and we're gonna, yeah. So we're gonna,
From here, we're gonna hear Felicity's lovely story
yeah.
about Stephen and Billy. Take it away.
You probably remember this story better than I do. I'm gonna sum this up by Felicity's conclusion here is ultimately that bullies win elections.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. It was a fourth grade election, and pretty much it was easy to win. Stephen just beat up Billy, and Billy dropped out. The end.
Yeah. And that's how it's like,
Yeah,
Billy,
yeah. Poor Billy,
Billy.
but Felicity is not going to be Billy.
She's just
She
not.
is throughout this. She is going to push back. So, so she's got her war room now.
Yeah,
She's got a
Billy's kind
Ben
of
in it.
her cautionary tale, her inspiration for not being another Billy. Don't be
That's
Billy.
right. Don't be Billy.
Hmm.
Don't get beaten up in the fourth grade, and drop out of the race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good life
So
lesson.
we're going to head to Felicity's dorm where we find that it's not just Ben that's helping her, it's Noel
Yeah.
also.
She's starting to stack her war room. This is
Hmm.
her. All right, we've got our back office staff. Noel is being a little protective of his posters.
Yeah.
Uh, and he and Ben are kind of doing a little angel devil thing on
Hmm.
Felicity's shoulder, and Noel's kind of hopping back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Because we're sort of catching them in the middle of Felicity saying, hey, Greg said it wasn't Andre.
Hmm.
Case closed. Ben's
Yep.
like, of course he'd say that. What was it? What else was he going to say but that? And Felicity keeps going down the road of I trust Greg. I think he's shooting straight. I think he's giving me the story that I should be believing. And Ben's like, I think Greg's playing with you. And it's
Hmm.
just this sort of because at the end of the day, if Felicity is believing Greg, she's not believing Ben.
Yeah.
And there appears to be a direct conflict with that for Ben.
Hmm.
So,
And Noel's like, well, look, maybe Greg didn't know about Andre,
mm-hmm.
you know? Uh, and Ben, as Felicity is relaying how she talked to Greg, Ben definitely catches the sheet that Felicity put in as her friend who saw
Mm-hmm.
Andre
Yeah.
defacing the
It's like, what do you mean
posters.
she?
Yeah. He's like, it was me. I did it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm trying to protect you. He's like, what?
Yeah.
But this is where Ben kind of jumps in and says, okay, well, so then Noel jumps back to the other side, right? And says, well, do you trust Greg? And Felicity's like, yes, I trust Greg. And then Ben scoffs and says, over me. And we'll hear that come back a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and
Yeah.
then here comes the summary, the
Mm-hmm.
piece from the summary. Ben's got a bright idea.
Yeah. Ben suggests, makes the casual suggestion that she leak the drug arrest, that Greg's drug arrest.
To the school paper.
Yeah. Fish, when he said that, what were you thinking?
Oh no,
Did you
this is
assume it was
not.
going to happen? Or
Oh
was
yeah.
it, yeah, it
I
was
was
sort of
like,
like
Ben is
Chekhov's,
definitely doing this.
yeah, like Chekhov's drug arrest leak. It's like,
Yeah.
well, now that they've said it, now that
Yeah.
he's said it,
Yep.
yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Okay.
And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the minute it came out of his mouth, I was like, this is gonna happen. He's gonna do it. Felicity's not going to know. Like, he's not going to like get her on board with this. And
So the
we're going
episode
to have
kind of
some
wrote
blow up.
itself. Yeah.
But what I
Ugh.
loved, so since we watched different versions of this, Melissa's watching the DVDs and I was watching streaming on Hulu. So for the second time, we have different music. And I had a couple comments on the music that I actually really liked, at least from the streaming version, because we go from this kind of war room into this fantastic montage of everybody defacing everybody else's stuff, just messing with it. And the song that's in the background is like a Western standoff. It's like high noon. And
Well, before we get
so
to that,
funny.
though, I just wanted to point out when Ben suggests that she leads to drug arrest, Felicity says, no, I'm not going
immediately.
dirty.
Absolutely.
That was her final stance on that before we head into this. And so there's this juxtaposition between Felicity saying, no, I'm not going dirty. And then like all this like montage of campaign hijinks that every single one of the candidates are doing. Certainly nothing to the degree of leaking a drug arrest, but we're seeing every single one of them get in on this through this sequence.
I mean, she says, like, I'm going to fight back. Everyone else is going dirty. And by going dirty, she doesn't mean like false information or even true information like the drug arrest. It's just basically a lot of like magic marker pranks and like taking people's stuff down and putting your stuff up. And so it's like, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
And in this process, I think we are finding that there are 5 candidates. There's Carol, there's Richard, there's Keith, who we've met, there's Greg, and there's Felicity. And every single one of them is doing something in this. I feel like Richard's moves are more defense.
Not all of them.
But not all of them, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed, I think his was my favorite when he just covers the entire board with flyers with his face on it.
He's like totally fed up, and you just see the sequence of him actually like stapling.
Yeah, he's got a staple gun.
Bulletin board full with his flyers.
Yeah. I shall wield this staple gun. I shall cover everything with my face.
Yeah, I wrote so many flyers.
So many.
Wow.
And to which there is much glee when Ben and Felicity come up and rip them all down. So like, clearly doors open.
Before that, though, their move against Richard was that as Felicity's putting up one of her posters, Ben is writing the word dick over Richard's face on his poster. And he just gets in real close and he goes dick right into the face of the poster. And then Felicity kind of pulls him away. So I liked that because I think we've learned somewhere along the way people started calling Richard Dick and he's not having it. Okay.
Yeah.
And
but I also love just the callback to like Ben and the word dick are just funny. Like every time he says it, it's funny.
Yeah.
So he's like, he writes dick across Richard's forehead. And then, Felicity pulls him away. And then Felicity comes back and gives him like a mustache and then starts like scribbling all over his face. And then Ben pulls her away.
Yeah.
She's in on it. She's fully down to deface Dick.
Yeah, that's it. So, and then we get the Richard with all the flyers. There's so many flyers. And then you're right. Felicity and Ben come back. And other people have been in and out this whole time, but
all
Felicity
of them.
And Ben
Every
will come
candidate.
Back. And Ben just basically like runs his hands up the board and knocks off every flyer in one fell swoop. He has like the biggest wingspan where he can just do one motion with his arms and knock off every single flyer that Richard just spent like an hour putting up.
Yeah.
That was nice. I liked that.
That was a very nice move. And, you see, Andre's in on it, Greg's in on it. They're clearly... We do not see Greg or Andre defacing Felicity's posters at any point there. Mm-hmm. I was looking at which ones they did, and they did not deface hers, but they're doing it to other people. And The thing, this, I did write it down at this point. It's like Ben and Felicity, they are having a good time with each other. They're
Mhm.
like
This is
going
playful.
around, they're like giggling, he's smiling, and I'm also thinking, uh-oh, like they're going in a certain direction, and yet we already know from the start, I mean, almost the start, that Ben is going to majorly F this up.
Well, if
So,
anything, I think this calls back even more so to the episode you were talking about
cheating.
recently with the cheating, because that episode, I think it was in the teaser where they have her before the credits, even where they had her go back to take, she's just supposed to be like spell checking his paper and then like
Mhm.
submitting it. And we
And then you
see
have to
her
go
at the
through the
open of the
whole,
episode
yeah,
do that, like make the changes. You're right. We have to go through the whole thing with that knowledge.
yeah. It's like every time they're like talking to each other and he's smiling and all that stuff, it's like in the back of our head, we know she's already done this.
It's like the fuse was lit on the dynamite from the
Yeah.
moment they started the episode, and we were just waiting for when it all came apart. And it's the same thing that's happening here because Ben says maybe you
Yep.
should leak the drug arrest, and you're just waiting for the moment when he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh,
I know.
Benjamin.
I know.
Well, we are going to have a direct confrontation coming up here. So Ben,
Well, so I will say, just out of that whole scene with Elena and Julie, we do find out that, these pranks happen every year to the point where, the campus police don't even bother responding to half the calls. So this is not unusual.
yeah. And I think also like there's probably levels to it, right? But like if there was something happening that was really, really serious, you would think they probably would. But what we're seeing here is
Yeah, it's
like
markers.
parody of like markers on posters.
We
So
didn't
there's not anything that
actually,
specifically stands out.
yeah, we didn't actually see Richard's flyers go up in flames. We don't know the extent of the damage, but
Yeah.
maybe they responded to that.
Yeah, but how long could that have been happening before it was just ashes? Hard to prove
There
that
were
one.
a lot of flyers
It's
with
true.
Richard's face on them,
It's very true.
many colors.
Well, we're gonna now go back to so Ben is actually gonna see Andre, man with red hat that he chased.
Ben is going to go a little aggro.
He's gonna go a little aggro. He's
A
like,
little bit.
"Hey, guy I chased," and the guy was like, "I don't know you." He's like, "Oh, you don't know me? The guy who chased you?
Yeah, you were
No,
looking back. I did
two
it for 2
blocks.
blocks.
Really don't remember me?" He's like, "No, never seen you before." It's like, oh,
Deny, deny, deny. I mean, if
yeah,
Shaggy has taught us anything, just one me.
yeah. Are they in the health center for this conversation?
I feel like this guy Andre was like behind a desk
Okay.
at like he had like flyers and posters and stuff. So I feel like they were in more of like a hall where people had their election stuff out.
Okay.
But I also thought that Nolina's apartment had a mini fridge in it. So
Yeah.
really don't take it could be anywhere.
Okay, fair enough. Well, so Ben and Andre are having this conversation, which honestly isn't headed anywhere good, anywhere fast. So
Nope.
Greg comes up.
Which is totally going to make it better, right?
Yeah, this is obviously going to fix everything. And so Greg's like, "Is there a problem here? Like, seems to be something going on here." And Ben's like, "Well, yeah, Andre has been vandalizing Felicity's posters, is what's been happening."
Yeah.
And Greg, I mean, this scene is just like
I know.
so Greg's like, "I wouldn't vandalize my girlfriend's posters." And Ben's like, "Your girlfriend?" Greg's like, "Yeah." Like, oh God, we've gotten here.
She's my girlfriend. Are you jealous? At which point, unfortunately, Ben begins deflating again. Like he doesn't like he's up, he's aggro, he's full of air, and then he gets called out for being jealous, and it's like you hear the little
Yeah.
the air's just coming out of the balloon.
Man, this scene, it's like, how did two adult humans just I don't
I
know. This
mean,
is where
it's
we are.
another moment where it's like, please step to the side. Here's a ruler. We'll come back in 2 minutes.
It's pretty much it, right? It's just like
Yeah.
the moment. And the thing is, like, it was a move. Greg's like, she's my girlfriend. And he just
Hmm.
knows what that's going to do to Ben.
Well, and he just lies directly to Ben's face. I mean, I don't believe for a second that Greg wasn't doing this stuff and didn't know
Um,
Andre was doing this stuff.
I am willing to believe that Greg said to Andre, "Don't do this to Felicity's poster. Don't do anything to Felicity," and then pretended that was it, and then didn't ask, didn't like it was just like Andre did what he was going to do. So I think he has tried to find some level of plausible deniability here.
But in
I
his heart, he knows Andre. They're
Yeah,
friends.
but I think he is sticking to the spirit of the conversation. I think he had a conversation with Andre and he said, "Don't mess with Felicity stuff," and then can now fall back on like, "I told him, I believe it.
Yeah,
It's fine."
but see, I'm not going with like I'm a by the rules judge here. I'm like, Greg, you knew what was going on. Like, if you really wanted to stop it, you could have stopped it, and you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have some guilt here, and you are lying to Ben, and you are going to lie to Felicity. You're all lying to each other. Y'all
Pretty much.
liars.
Like I think
All of you are liars.
this is a little murky. Like I think we don't have proof of anything that Greg's done here. So I
Well,
and they
not
specifically
to
didn't show
Felicity.
us Greg and Andre together defacing any of Felicity's posters. So I think there's like everybody's doing stuff. We don't know for sure what he's doing in terms of Felicity stuff. I think, it's I don't I don't necessarily put him on any different level
Oh,
than
no.
any of the other candidates with what's
Agreed.
happening right now.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I ever will. We'll see if I do as we get along.
No, they're all doing it.
Yeah,
And deflated Ben is going to reinflate himself and just fuck it up.
Ben makes a bad decision, guys.
Look, anytime you go to Richard, you are making a bad decision.
And they just give us then Ben knocks on Richard's door, which is apparently Richard Code's campaign headquarters and labeled as such. And Richard answers the door, and Ben's just like, "I have some information on Greg Stenson,"
Yeah,
and we
he's
don't
like,
see it unfold, but we know what's
yeah,
happening in that room.
he just, I think what he says is want info on Greg, or like want information on Greg,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't immediately clock as a question to Richard. Like, do you want information about Greg? I thought Ben was asking Richard, he was going to like dig up something that was not as bad and try to use
Oh,
that.
okay.
Um, that is not what was happening. And I had to go back later and add a question mark. And it was like, oh, okay. So he's
No, he
he's
basically,
providing the information. Got it.
yeah, he went out of this, like, he went out of this fight ish with Greg straight to Richard's room
Yep.
and just was like, "This is how I will pay him back,"
He
and
really needs to like learn to do what Elena does later, like count to 10, walk around the block, like it's like he always seems to regret it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Felicity's impulsive too. I feel like she often, I don't know, continues to defend what she does. Um, Ben definitely regrets the things he does, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, this was unquestionably awful.
It was
If
not
we
good.
didn't feel good about Ben telling Felicity,
Mm,
or well, he didn't tell Felicity. Ben approached Greg
yeah,
with Greg's own
sort
information.
of with like a threat. Yeah,
If we didn't even feel good about that,
yeah,
this
it's
is
not
bad.
good.
Like
It's
telling
not
it
good.
the whole school, like telling everybody, like, oof.
And I
Um,
mean, the other thing that I like about this scene and the way we're talking about it is we're both coming down hard on Ben. Neither one of us for a second thought Richard was going to like do anything other than what he did. Like Richard
Yeah, for sure. Like this was
just
absolutely,
absolutely
yeah.
like I don't know what you want to call it,
And
amoral or
yeah,
like
I don't get the feeling that
immoral.
Richard had one sleepless night about
No,
this.
not even a little bit. And yet I still like Richard, so I don't know what to do about that.
Well, we expect more from Ben.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
guess
they're
so.
positioning him as a hero. They're positioning him as a guy who's had all this growth, and he makes a really big mistake. It was intentional. It was in the heat of the moment. It was a mistake, and he's going to regret it.
Hmm.
But he makes it, and it's just so big. You know, like
Yeah.
it's so hurtful, like on
Yep.
such a wide scale for this human. Like I get he doesn't like Greg, but it's a way across the line, and he knows that. He's going to know it almost instantly. So
Hmm.
it's like at least there's that for us. Like Ben does have a conscience. Ben has a moral compass. This is not in line with it, but he did it anyway. He still did it. And uh,
Yeah.
um, this is going to come apart real soon. But we're going to move on from there. I will say, well, we'll skip over that. So, um, Felicity's dorm.
Yeah, which I at first saw the easel and I was like, oh, yeah, she is still an art student. And then when they came in, and it's Felicity and Julie and Layla, and they're talking about the campaign, and they're like, oh, you've been robbed. Your posters are gone. I'm like, oh, it's for the posters. She's still not doing art. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we haven't thought about that in a little while, but she is
Mm.
still an art major, by the way. Um,
And yet,
yeah, I mean,
where's the
and we're
art?
going to see in future seasons more pursuit of art. It's just that was not part of the story in this part of the season
Yeah.
because they had to put her at the health center and the art
Mhm.
stuff just wasn't a location that they had time for.
Yeah.
But so you're right. Leela and Julie are, they're all talking about these stolen posters. Apparently, Megan said that it was Andre.
Yeah, I liked how as they were walking in the room, they're talking about how all the different candidates put out editorials,
Mm-hmm.
and that Richards was just one word, pizza.
Mm-hmm.
That was his whole editorial. And
Mm-hmm.
and Lena's like, yours was so much better. Felicity's like, yeah, you wrote it. You're the one who started this again. So,
Yeah.
and again, Julie doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. And so, we're going to
Yeah.
move from here to an actual conversation between Greg and Felicity.
And here, Felicity is going to say, look, my stuff was stolen. Like we've already talked about Ben. In addition to Ben, now I have the backup to say Megan was coming out, said she saw Andre coming out of our room
Mm-hmm.
with all of my posters.
Yeah. And Greg still is like, it wasn't Andre. I told him not to touch your stuff.
Yeah, I feel like Greg is gaslighting her here. He's like, I feel like you're two different people. You're like candidate Felicity, and then you're like regular Felicity. It's like, no, you know what's going on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't do that to her.
Yeah. I'm more optimistic, of course, that maybe Greg did have that conversation that he is trusting Andre.
Well, when Felicity comes up and says, Megan saw Andre coming out of my room holding all of my posters.
My interpretation is that Greg doesn't want to believe it, but I appreciate that we can have these different interpretations and it all makes sense
Yeah.
in this context. I mean, I think because ultimately Felicity is going to believe that Ben's not going to do the things that he's, like she'll swear up and down for sure he would never do these things. Like I know you're
Mhm.
telling me he did, he didn't. So if I believe it for her, then I want to have some room to believe it for him. But everybody's playing dirty, so it's
Yeah.
like, meh, could go either way.
And Greg's, Felicity's like, I mean, Greg is, he's, he's just got this sort of view of, I guess, politics, right? And he's like, look, if you were anyone else, I would just say, get over it. This is politics.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of sees her face and he's like,
but I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, but I care about you. So that I'm not saying that.
Like, that's what I would say. But what I'm really saying is the opposite of that based on your face. Yeah. Yes. But he does sort of deflect a little bit from there. And he's like, look, we have to trust our running mates. And
well, they're campaign managers, right?
He said running mates.
But that's weird.
But anyway, the point was the people that are working with us.
Yeah. He told Andre not to touch your stuff. I mean, he's getting a little defensive of Andre here.
Yeah, so I think they get to a place where they're just like, okay, new rule. Every man for himself, every man for himself. Okay.
Well, but first we're going to get the call back. And Felicity, Greg says, I told Andre not to do it, and I trust that he didn't do it. Felicity's like, so you trust him over me? Yeah. And Greg's like, will you trust Ben over me? What
a tangled web we weave. Yeah. I don't feel like this election has been good for anybody.
No. It seems like, Layla has just like really, really just left them in an unfortunate spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be every man for himself.
That's so it. With this new mentality, Felicity's now going to break the seal on like staying away from Greg's part of the election. So Ben and Felicity make a plan. They're going to make a plan to break into Andre's, which involves the step of consulting with Sean.
Yeah. And I put here, like, Felicity and Ben are definitely working too closely together. Their plan is to break into a room and, I'm fine with Sean being their Bond gadget guy, but he makes a really good point at the end of this scene. He's like, you guys do not have the best record of breaking into places. Yeah. Do they not see that they are just repeating what happened before? Are they not?
Well, so we have this scene with Sean and with Noel and Ben and Felicity, and they're all.
Oh, was it Noel that said that?
Noel said that, yeah. Noel but they're all. So Sean's kind of like. He's pulling up a box with all this spy gear, which I guess we're like he's invented spy gear somewhere along the way. And he's just showing them, he's giving them some tools that they can use to break into Andre's room. And Noel, in the meantime, is having some of the funniest dialogue they've ever given him.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And he's cautioning them pretty much for the whole time. He's like, guys, really, you're breaking into Andre's room? And Felicity's like, well, we're not making personal attacks. This is just a game. But Noel is definitely the voice of caution for this whole scene, including the line that you just said of like, you guys don't have the best track record for breaking into places. But he has my favorite line.
Yeah.
Which is, look, it starts out with drawing on posters, and then it escalates to breaking into Andre's room. And next thing you know, you're paying off hitmen and fishing hookers out of the Hudson. And he says it, and he's just looking off into the distance, like he's remembering something. And everybody just stops what they're doing, and they're like,
they pans across everyone else in the room, and they're all just staring at Noel. Yeah. And he's like, what? He's definitely gone to some disaster level thinking here.
Yeah, it's not good. But
Sean pulls out his he pulled out a ton of stuff to show them, but he pulls out what he really need to, which is a lockpick. Yeah. So they have fully acknowledged Noel is on record as saying it's a bad idea. Yeah. And they're going to end up fishing hookers out of the Hudson.
Yeah. I do like the fact that they just made Sean fish this whole box, though, because it's going to come back in a scene later that he's found more stuff that he's happy about, that he remembers fondly. So we'll get back to that later. But One of the last things we leave off on in this scene is that Felicity is trying to justify what they're doing by saying, like, yeah, we're breaking into this room, but we're not making personal attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Ben's face.
Right.
Gulp.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
In this moment, you can definitely see Ben knows that this was problematic. He wants to take it back. He wants to make his action unhappen. You can see it in his face. It's really the first time we've seen him since he did that thing. And his next move is going to be to go straight back to Richard.
Yeah.
It's like, forget what I said. Just forget it. Just, it never was said to you. Richard's like, what are you talking about, man? It's already out.
Richard has, I think, also some of the best lines. So Ben goes and knocks on his door, and Richard opens it and sees Ben there and says, "This is great. What are you, my deep throat?" And Ben's just like, "Whoa, okay. Look, here's
Not
what I need from you." Yeah. Here's what I need from you, Richard. Do not use any of this information that I've given to you. Richard can't understand why. And he's like, sorry, man. I did it. Sorry out there. Not my hands. And then he has another just chef's kiss of a line.
Yep.
He's like, look, don't give a rat to a snake and then ask for it back.
It's like, what does that even mean? Yeah, the writers really, they threw a lot of energy into Richard's lines in this episode for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
So, boy, this is a problem. And, to be fair, Ben, this is going to be on Ben's mind for the whole rest of the episode.
Yep.
Which is good,
as it should
because
be.
He deserves for this to be on his mind for the rest of the episode. But the next time we see him and Felicity, they're breaking into Andre's room. They're actually using the lock picking tool that Sean has given him, and it works. Ben's the one using it. And when it works, they're both shocked.
I mean, and I just write here, and look, no judgment. I was the same way, but kids are stupid. They are doing the exact same thing. He is unlocking a lock he is not supposed to be doing. Felicity's like, maybe we shouldn't do this. And he's like, we're not going to get caught. And she believes him, and they're walking in together. I'm like, you're stupid.
Yeah. It's not a good call.
No.
So they break into Andre's room, poking around, and Ben opens up the closet and he finds the motherload of campaign gear from everybody's campaigns. Yep. Like it's equal opportunity. They've just stolen from everybody. And so they've discovered this.
Darn Andre and Walter.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how much Walter's been involved, but we assume he's maybe looked in the closet. That was my assumption.
Fair enough. And they will unfortunately come back to the room at this point while Ben and Felicity are still in it. And so we just see Andre's feet kind of moving through the room.
Or Walter's.
One of them. I was guessing it was Andre because why not? And they and you're just thinking to yourself, where have Ben and Felicity hidden? Did they hide in front of the bed?
Yeah, it definitely didn't seem like they fit under it.
Okay.
There's no way, because the way they're positioned, it's like Ben is kind of on top of Felicity, and there's no way the two of them fit in that position.
On their sides. He's like kind of spooning her, but he's up a little higher. Yeah. And I feel like I was like, what is this camera angle? Like, because they obviously, there was a problem with trying to fit them under the bed and get a camera shot of them and do all of those things. But they wanted to make it seem like they were sort of under the bed. So they put them in front of the bed and put the camera in such a way that you could see the bed frame, but they were obviously in front of the bed. So I'm assuming they were just like on whatever side of the bed was opposite from the door. and they were
But
helping that Andre. Like, how is that
but
even a
like
thing?
clearly Andre walks right past them to get his like card for his meal. There's a giant lump of people right
Yes.
there. Like I
It's
don't yeah.
you could either say like it's look, is it a great moment of camera trickery?
No.
Nope.
Do we know what they were going for?
We get the
Yes.
idea. Yeah, like
Yes.
imagine if you will that these two people are actually under this bed that they're in
Hmm.
front of and
Yeah.
can't be seen when they can clearly be seen from any vantage point in the room.
Yes.
My God.
Uh,
That was so funny.
so funny.
Unintentionally funny. I feel like how is that what they came up with, Fish?
You know, it was a nice shot from the
Yeah.
sense of like I I could like feel Ben's breath on her neck. And I was just
Yeah.
like,
They're touching, they're
I
holding each like
know, oh
okay,
my
great.
God. But like
Um
also, why this is starting to bug me. Like, why do they need like all this adrenaline? You know? It's
mhm.
like all the stuff they're doing has to be like weird and like on dirty college room floors or like ripping campaign posters off or breaking into pools. Like, why can't you just go on a date? Like, figure it out.
Fish, they don't get it. Felicity can't do that because she's trying to be in denial. Okay. So she can't go on a date. She needs to have, there was so much physical touch between Ben and Felicity in this
So
episode.
much.
Is including the scene that you noticed where, the sequence where Felicity physically pulls Ben away from the poster. And then Ben
Hmm.
like bear hugs Felicity
Yep.
and brings her away. And she's like,
As they're
and
both
she's like
giggling.
scrambling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have something like this. There's just so much physical touch between them here. And
Hmm.
come on, guys. I
And
mean,
then it's so tough
Felicity had her moment of
because,
realization at the dance. She's
right,
not unaware.
she's
Okay.
not.
She's
No,
into it now. She's on par. She's seeing what's happening.
she's having fun
Yeah.
and she's getting into it. But it was such a tough transition to go from the two of them, hugging each other in front of a bed and then immediately go to Felicity and Greg.
It is. And just before we do that, I just want to say our complaints about this shot in front of the bed are probably equally nitpicky as the quickest beat down on the cleanest street in all of New York
Which
thing
I
that we went
continue to
on.
love.
Yeah, we continue to love that. So, guys, this is a new one that we can add to that list. Quickest beat down, cleanest street, hugging in front of a bed, hiding in front of a bed, hiding in front of a bed.
Repeated blue bike helmets for no reason at all, and Dear Sally tapes to a dead woman.
Yeah, good
There's
stuff.
lots of things that we
We've
like
got some things going on here.
to, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So you're saying it was a tough transition for you to
It
go
was a
from that.
tough transition to like
Okay.
see them like on top of each other. And
Mm-hmm.
then Felicity earnestly walking in with like on a high horse, saying, okay, first of all, I did a horrible thing. But here's the thing. I was right. Broke into Andre's room and, you know, all the stuff is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just am coming here to tell you, because I believe you that you don't know about this. I'm coming here to tell you that your campaign manager isn't being honest. So not only has she just like had she like still smells like Ben. She's walking in to see Greg to say, I broke into your campaign manager's room. And on top of that, she's saying, and I did it for your own good.
So I just want to put a finer point on this. This transition was difficult for you because you thought Felicity was being a hypocrite. Like what was the
I felt so bad for Greg at that moment.
okay?
I was like, this is I mean, it was rough for Greg, and it did not make Felicity look good.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not going to get better for him in this
Nope.
scene because this is like the second worst thing he's heard today. And not even close to the first worst because what she just interrupted was him looking at a flyer, which he then is like, well, this just isn't my day, is it? And he holds up this flyer for her to read. And it says, among, whatever other things, the headline is Greg Stenson arrested for possessing drugs.
Yep.
Whoa.
With a big picture of his face.
Mm-hmm. Now, like I don't know specifically where he got this from, and it doesn't even matter because my
It's
assumption
probably
is that this is
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are holding it around campus. We'll see later. Like, it's everywhere. I mean, Richard has gone out and used his trusty staple gun, and he has plastered it all over the school.
Yeah.
Because that's what he
And,
does with flyers.
you know, well, okay. I mean, there's two directions we can go here. I think for one thing, let's just say what happened in this scene. So Felicity has, I think, an appropriate level of
Shock.
shock,
And
like
feeling for
compassion.
Greg.
I mean, like
Yeah.
she's like, I want you to know, like, I didn't say anything to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
which is true.
Yep.
And Greg's like, we both know who did this. And Felicity's like, no, that's not Ben. Greg's like,
Mm-hmm.
it could only have been him. And Felicity's like, it's not. It's not him. I know Ben. This isn't
Never
Ben.
go that far.
And Greg's like, well, I had to face the truth about my campaign manager, and you might just have to too. And so that's kind of where this plays out. But I think not to bury the lead, like, what a crappy thing to happen to Greg here.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever the support system was, like if he's going to meetings, like whatever's happening,
he needed to leave that room and go directly to an NA meeting.
Yeah, like this is recovery compromising stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the show's really, they're not putting any attention on that because that's not the story, but like, this is Felicity should actually be pretty worried about Greg here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I can't even imagine. This isn't just embarrassing.
No.
It's like,
it's traumatic, and it could affect the rest of his whole life.
It's opportunity breaking. Does a trustee find it, like, was this information disclosed when he got the health center job? Probably.
Yeah, I think didn't he say it was? I'm
probably
pretty sure
had to be.
Was.
But then when the press gets out about that, like, do the trustees still feel comfortable for him? Does the administration still feel comfortable for him to be the face of the health center?
What about his recommendations to med school?
Yeah, like, I mean, this isn't just embarrassing. This is, for a guy who appears to have been working very hard to turn his life around, and I might argue is taking on far too much for any undergrad. This is the opposite of everything he's been trying to do to clean up his act. And so it's just like, I know we're not looking at this story from his point of view, but can we all just have a moment of silence for Greg here? Because it's like,
yeah. I mean, the whole scene was rough. It was really rough.
And I don't know. I think Felicity understands the gravity of it. But like this cross purpose of having to defend Ben does not help. Like, if anything, if it were me in that situation, I would like to think, and this is not the story they're telling in the show, but if it were me in the situation, I'd like to think, can we put that aside for a second and check in on you? Like, what do you need? I know that's not where they're trying to take this, but again, this is another example of like Felicity has never asked a probing question about this topic to Greg. So they're not going to have her start right now, but man.
Yeah. And then we're
So,
just going to keep going down this road. It's like, so now it's out.
mhm.
And Ben and Sean are sitting in their apartment.
What a
And
choice
yeah,
this was.
again, why are you asking Sean for
Yeah.
advice? Like, not only like does he give you bad advice in the past, he doesn't even give you real advice here.
This is the weirdest scene of so many weird scenes we will see on this show, but it's just flat out weird. And I wonder if it should be weird, but it's funny, but should it be funny? So Ben and Sean are in the loft. Sean, through almost the whole scene, is wearing so somewhere in his box of spy stuff that he had unearthed for that prior conversation, he found his Russian spy gear, his the one that the helmet you put on your head. And so he's
It's like
wearing a ridiculous looking helmet.
binoculars.
Yes,
It's like a
yeah.
helmet with mini binoculars that come down in front of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You can
And he's
like
just
move them
sitting on his
around.
head like that's a normal thing for this whole
Yeah,
conversation, which Ben is trying to have a serious conversation.
he
He's
is.
he's feeling horrible about what he just did. He's like, I'm an idiot. I did the
Uh-huh.
wrong thing. I should tell
Uh-huh.
Felicity.
Uh-huh. And Sean is turning to him and trying to give him, you know, his version of good advice, which is do not tell Felicity. Your relationship right now is a delicate flower. And if you tell her, it is like stepping on that delicate flower. And for anyone who has seen Jane the Virgin, I can't get this out of my head. There's this, so her grandmother is like really religious, Jane's grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And she has this conversation with Jane when she's very young, where she takes this beautiful white flower and she's like, isn't it so pretty? And then she crushes it in her hand in
Mm-hmm.
front of Jane and like opens her hand up again. And there's this crushed, mangled flower. And she's like, this is what happens when you have sex.
Mm-hmm.
You can never make the flower beautiful again.
Okay.
And then Jane like puts it up on her wall. Like
Wow.
has this like desiccated flower on her wall. It's rough, but it made me think of this because Sean is saying, look, you're starting to have this little relationship. You're gonna ruin it.
Like, think about all the work I did in the last episode in this
Yeah.
documentary to try to bring you two together, Ben. Think about me.
And yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, but on the other hand, maybe you should tell her, because what if she finds out? It's better that you tell her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, Sean is not sure what he thinks, and
Yeah.
Ben is really not sure what he thinks. So, Ben's like, "Oh my God, take that off your head. I can't
Yeah,
take you
focus.
seriously.
Yeah.
Actually, it's better with it on. Put it back on."
You look more stupid with it off. Just
Yeah.
put the Russian spy gear back on your head. Um, so the thing about this is that like, and this is not the first time we've seen Ben approach Sean with this need for information. Like Ben is in this conversation ready to be coached out of his problem. Like
Yeah.
he came to Sean really wanting Sean's not only his advice, but he's going to follow Sean's advice. Like that is his move. It's like if you tell me that's what I have to do to get out of this, I will trust it. And so he's hanging on to Sean's every single word, but Sean keeps going back and forth. He's like, don't step on the flower. Wait, no. Okay, wait, no. So you have to tell her because nope, no. You don't want to tell her. Nope. And Ben is just like, I can't take this anymore.
He like gets up and he's just like bolting from the room, and Sean like screams after him, "You're not gonna step on the flower, right? Don't step on the
Yeah.
flower, Ben."
I just this scene, it's
I know.
funny and it's cute and it's
I don't
Sean
want to
and
call it
Ben's
cute.
relationship now, and I think that they've gotten to a really fun place as roommates and as friends. And I don't know if it fits for where we are here, because Ben just did like this really bad thing, and it's about Felicity, but it's actually about Greg. Like, like it's the thing he feels bad about. Yeah, he's worried how it's going to impact his relationship with Felicity.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what his conscience is telling him is that this was a bad thing to do
Right.
to another human.
But he doesn't say here, like, I'm an idiot. I did this terrible thing. I should go apologize to Greg.
Yeah, he's
That's
talking
not
about
his
Felicity.
conclusion.
Yeah.
So,
This whole conversation is about his relationship with Felicity. And right now, that should be neither here nor there. But it's everywhere.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't take it so much that he was going to end up taking Sean's advice. Like, we'll see, like, they happen to end on the same note, but I didn't really believe he was going to tell her.
This reminded me, like in terms of the way that Ben was listening to Sean, this reminded me of when he approached Sean about Maggie,
Hmm.
when he was really thinking about just like, I can't, right? She's married. I can't. She's married. I can't do this, right? Like when
Well,
he
don't
finds out for
go.
sure she's married and he wants to talk with Sean about it, and Sean is so obsessed over Julie
Yeah, you
and
can't even
he can't.
focus.
And the way that Ben sounded in that conversation sounded very much like the way he sounded here to me, where it was like, Sean, I absolutely have to, like, I cannot leave here without your input, please. And Sean is just a mess in a
Yeah,
different way.
Sean does not, I think, help him
No.
at all, because the next scene that we see them in goes straight to, Ben staring at this sign
Mm-hmm.
of Greg that he is directly responsible for,
Yeah.
and Felicity walking up and asking him to his face, just asking him straight up, did you do this? Like, did you tell anyone? And him with what I considered speed of light automatic reaction,
Mm-hmm.
just lying to her face. Nope.
Yeah.
Mm-mm, didn't do it. Wasn't me.
Oh man. Yeah. So that happens.
Yeah.
And
He's
then
just
we're
like,
gonna head to the debate. Well, was this a debate? Or was
yeah,
this another
I
round of
think
speeches?
I think it's a debate. I mean, they're definitely like cutting in on each other, sort of a
Yeah.
town hall kind of thing.
Okay. So it's another forum where like everybody at school is meant to be able to hear these candidates speak.
Everyone at school and Javier.
Javier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's so
Javier.
proud. He's so proud of Felicity.
Yeah, he's excited about what she's doing.
Yeah.
Um,
Proud Papa.
so a guy in the crowd who I feel like I've seen in a lot of other stuff, but I don't know his name and I don't know how to look him up.
Wait, is this the guy who comes to the mic or the guy who's sitting down?
The guy who's the guy who's asking Greg about the guy who stands up.
Okay.
Because the other guy was the guy from the Revolutions episode. Maybe if we're thinking about the same people.
Well, I was going to ask, I sometimes have a very difficult time telling like accents, but I feel like the guy who was sitting down had a British accent. Am I insane there?
Might have been. It was definitely an accent. And it was the guy who was the long-haired guy from
Yeah.
the protest.
Okay.
But the guy who stands up is a different person that I feel like I've seen in a lot of things. And
Wait, you think that was the guy from the protest?
the guy sitting down,
Yeah.
yeah, the guy who said, "Did you sell or just use?"
Yeah. Maybe he had his hair down this time, so he looked different.
Yeah, no, it was the same guy. There was some continuity there. But the guy a guy stands up and he's like, I want to ask Greg a question. Greg's like, oh, okay. And you just kind of know Greg's probably like, oh my God.
I mean, he must
When
have
and
prepped.
how is it going to come up? Not if,
He
like
must have prepped for this.
sort of, but he's just sort of deer in headlights for all of this, how can you prep?
I don't know. Oh, you can prep. I think he prepped.
You can prep and you can have a statement, but for me, what I saw in Greg through this whole thing was like deer in headlights. Like he might have had a statement, but it was a lot of other people coming to his rescue. So like the guy's like, saw the flyers, Greg, is it true? And Greg's like, well, yes, and I've come a long way. Like he's trying to focus on, you can see that his mindset is I want to acknowledge it and move the focus to, what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah.
And that's his move. But then the crowd kind of doesn't let that happen. And long-haired guy who's sitting is like, did you sell or did you just use? And that question seemed like it really caught Greg off guard. He's
Yeah.
like, how it was like, how could you even like ask that? And he said, I just used. And
Yeah. He's
um
definitely being ambushed here.
yeah.
Um, I didn't know exactly what was going on in his head because he says a couple of things. He says, what I did was indefensible,
Mhm.
and he thinks he should have been more upfront about it. But honestly, it's none of their business.
Yeah, I don't think he should have been upfront about
So,
it. I
like, I definitely see what the person I called random British guy um
Mhm.
ambushing him, and I think he probably did have something prepared before, for the basic question of like, talk about this. He's like,
Mhm.
yes, it's true, da 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 da. And but he does have a number of people coming to his defense.
Some more effectively than others, let's be honest.
Yes,
Megan,
very,
not so effective.
but passionate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Who here hasn't been caught possessing drugs and gone to jail? It's just
yeah.
like,
She's
this
got
is the
this like little crazy like frenzied hair going on, and she's just like, come on, we've all had this happen.
it's here for Greg Stenson.
Yep.
Oh, Megan. That was perhaps not as helpful,
Maybe not.
but Felicity does speak on his behalf in a way that I thought was about as effective as it could be, where she's like, look, we've all, you know, we've all done things wrong. Greg did a thing, wasn't a good thing, but we're trying to vote here for the person who's going to make the best president, not for the person who's made the least mistakes. And she makes a point to say, like, whoever put up those flyers crossed the line.
Yeah. She's like, who here hasn't made a mistake? To which Richard raises his hand. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I've never made a
Except he
mistake.
just did by putting up the flyers.
Apparently not. I mean, do we have any bad consequences for Richard here?
I mean, Richard is the biggest rule breaker of all rule breakers that we've
Yeah.
seen throughout his entire freshman year.
Yeah. I don't feel like his moral compass is always pointing north
Yeah.
or in existence. Um, so yeah, Richard's just Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And, crime and punishment, the moral of that story does not apply to him.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the term is sociopath,
Yeah.
but he's real fun
Yeah.
and he's gonna give you free pizza.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna pause down there for a note from an optimist.
Okay.
Free pizza.
Right?
I can't think of a thing to be more optimistic about than free pizza. That's it. Look, this is a message from your favorite Italian on this podcast. Hey,
You're in New
pizza
York.
is no joke. It is a food that so many of us love. Some people are lactose intolerant, but you've got options too. And you know what? Pizza, free pizza Fridays for every single person in the student union is a bananas platform. It would be so expensive over time. I'm not sure that it's necessary, but I love it. I love it nonetheless. And this Italian approves. Okay. So free pizza Fridays.
100% Italian approved.
Yep.
Um, yep. I mean, I can't argue with that. Pizza is amazing. And Richard will come back to this later, talking about it's all about the not tagline, what
Slogan. No, wait, it's all about
slogan.
the, yeah.
Yeah, it's all about the slogan.
Mhm.
free pizza Fridays. And I think he's right because uh, when I was a junior, the guy who ran and won for class president my junior year, he was a senior, and so he ran for like, I don't know, the whole president, like
Mhm.
president of the whole student council.
Mhm.
And his platform was, and I quote, which I remember to this day, had it all over the school on posters. This was his platform. Quote, "Who's your daddy?" Yep,
Okay.
that was his platform. And he won.
It's you. Wow.
So,
It just
it's all
goes
about
to
the
show you.
slogan.
Yeah. Mhm. Well, okay. So this happened very publicly.
Hmm.
And as much as Felicity tried to sort of, well, she spoke up for Greg, she tried to whatever degree come to his rescue, because to be honest, by that point, after the question about whether he sold or just used, he was so like speechless
Yeah.
that what her jumping in was the best thing anybody could have said, including better than anything he could have said for himself in that moment. But how do you get
Why
up the
is
next
it,
day?
yeah, why is it that she's always good at speaking? Like, she spoke for Layla, she's speaking here, but when she has to do it like herself, she just like falls apart.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll remain consistent forever. Like I don't know if I feel like what they were trying to do in Revolutions was the inconsistency because they wanted Julie to speak somehow. Um,
Okay.
and I think when she spoke for Layla, they tried to make her sound shaky and nervous to start with before she got confidence. I think as a bridge, but I don't know. To me, that her nerves around. I mean, I think it would be nerve wracking to speak on live TV, but I also think that it didn't seem to make sense that she was so nervous when we had never really seen evidence of that before that I can remember. I don't
Yeah.
know. Um,
But she's gonna voice over
uh,
real well
to
uh,
Sally
to
in a Sally
Sally.
tape.
Well, we haven't seen the
Uh,
tape. She's definitely voicing over to Sally, tapeless, um, and saying, Greg was really brave. He put it behind him,
mhm.
and we're just going to move on into this new party, which seems to be the results party.
Yeah, it's the
And
Epstein Bar general every candidate party.
yeah, I know there are no
All
separate
candidates are
parties.
here. Everybody
Yep,
who in any way is interested in this election is here, and they're going to
the
usher out
former.
the last president
Yep.
before they announce to all of the waiting candidates who won this time.
Hmm.
I wonder, is this how they would have had to do it when was there any other way to do this at that
I
time?
mean, the email was a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, School-wide email, and then you
Yeah.
get that, and then you could have your separate parties. But it's nice. They're all in one spot. We like it. It's fine.
Yeah.
The new or the outgoing president says she's going to Harvard, to which Richard makes this like really weird and judgmental face, which I thought was odd. All right.
you know how it is. Well, so then, they've got this tight shot on Felicity and Greg standing together as this person is announcing the campaign results, and they're co-presidents.
Yep. There's a
And
tie.
oh my gosh, could
It's
Felicity and
amazing.
Greg both be president? Nope,
No.
neither of them are going to be president.
But you know who is?
Carol Nanning and Richard Code.
Richard. I
Yeah,
I knew as soon as he started running, I was like, he's gonna win.
yeah,
He's so gonna win this.
yeah.
And Richard being Richard is pissed. He's like, what is the point of this party? It was meant to be a victory party
For
so that I
me.
could, smash it in all your faces and rub it in all your faces that I won.
Uh-huh.
And I only like co-won.
Yeah, it's awkward. Not how he envisioned his victory. But anyway, that's his reality that he's going to have to deal with. And so meanwhile, we're watching Greg and Felicity standing next to each other, and it's just like, what do we do right now? And Greg's like, just stand here and smile. Just
Yeah.
act
Felicity's
natural.
trying to figure out how to be a gracious loser.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Just
given
act
he
natural.
is. He's given her good advice.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
smile. Don't go punch Richard in the face, even though it's what you want to do so
Mm-hmm.
badly.
Yeah. And then Greg's like, let's just change the topic.
Mhm.
What do you think about, I mean, I know I sort of teased at it earlier and I kind of like just dropped the suggestion, but
And then totally undermine myself.
Mhm.
But I'm going to try not to undermine myself.
Like, would you go away with me for the weekend? Felicity's like,
And
yeah.
she's thought about it.
Yeah.
She's thought about it. And she's like, yeah, too soon. Remember when we said too soon? Like, too soon. Let's have dinner in town.
Let's start there, even though they've already started there. That's not a start, that's a
It's okay.
continuation. But
They're, look. They're gonna just keep it a little slower.
mhm.
Slow it down.
Yeah. So I say we'll mention this scene from another angle in a minute. But Julie and Noel are sitting at a table in that very same Epstein bar, and Felicity comes up to them. And she asks where Ben is. And Julie's like, oh, I think he's at home. He wasn't feeling well. Right.
Mm-hmm. But he isn't
Uh
feeling well.
yeah, Ben had other things to do besides be in a room with Greg, knowing what he just did. Um, and then Felicity thanks Noel for his help, which is nice. And in fact, I think Noel designed all her campaign posters, which we see a shot of in one of his scenes. So he did a lot for Felicity here. But Felicity's going to go from this conversation to a conversation with her fellow candidate and now the new co-president, Richard. Very revealing.
Less of a conversation.
More
More
of
of just Richard speaking at Felicity.
Yeah, he can't
Just
stop.
spilling all the beans. Like there were beans he had, and he's just spilling them over and over and over.
Yeah.
Cans and cans of beans. So many beans.
Yeah. And his move here is like,
it's all about the slogan.
It's all about the slogan. I would like to thank Free Pizza Fridays. Oh, but also Ben.
Yeah.
For being the leak. Like for giving me the information about Greg. He did it at just the right time, in just the right way, in all the wonderful Ben ways. And Felicity's like,
yeah, Felicity can't even speak. And again, zero consequences for Richard here. Like,
yes.
He doesn't even seem to be thinking about the fact that Richard was the one who actually put Greg's face on a poster and then put it all over school. No, nothing to do with Richard.
Yeah.
He is a non-entity
once he gives her this information. Of chaos here, and in so many ways. And so now he continues talking, not noticing that Felicity has become pissed and that she has now left.
Yeah. And he gets another girl to walk up to him, and he's like, "Let's try this again. It's all about the slogan." Now I thought Felicity was going to go confront Ben. That was the move. I really thought that was where she was going.
Okay.
It's not. It's not where she went.
She makes a beeline for Greg, still in the same room, and she says, "You know what? I thought about it, and I do want to go away for the weekend. Let's get out of here."
Yeah, he's like, she has a frenzied face.
Yeah.
She's like, "I have to get out of here."
And Greg is rightfully suspicious. He has what just happened between 2 seconds ago when you rejected me and now when you're saying yes? He has this look on
Yes.
his face like, I don't get it.
Well, he says to her, "What's going on?" He doesn't
Yeah.
say yes. He doesn't. He's like, "What's going on?" And Felicity's just like, "Well, we deserve a vacation."
Hmm. I mean, he
And
agrees. He's gonna like, why is he not gonna agree here? But like, what happened there?
yeah, exactly. He's like, "Something is going on here. I don't know
Yeah.
what, but she's saying yes, so maybe I should shut my mouth."
Yeah.
Wise man, that Greg.
Oh boy. So the person who's going to try to find the other one is actually going to be Ben. Ben is now going to knock on Felicity's door.
Yeah, where does he think she is?
So
Like,
I think the move was that they were going to drive to Rhinebeck the next morning. So I think Ben
this is the
has,
next
it's the
day.
next day.
Got it. So he
Um,
just like spent all that time thinking to himself,
Thinking,
he's got to
yeah.
be like going nuts.
Yeah, he's probably going nuts. I think he spent all night by himself thinking about this, which gave Felicity and Greg enough time to prep for their trip. And now they've hit the road. It's daylight when they're driving.
Yeah.
So
I'm guessing Sean
Ben,
was again no help.
yeah. So Ben knocks on Felicity's door. Again, we presume this is the next morning as they've just started to drive.
Yeah.
And he
And he
knocks on the door. He's like,
hears,
Felicity. He hears a noise
yeah.
from the inside. So now he's trying to coax Felicity into opening this door. Just give me 5 minutes. Like, like Felicity, I want to talk to you. Just give me 5 minutes. And after a little while, Megan answers the door, pretty annoyed.
Yeah. She's like, Felicity's not here. How many times I have said this for anyone ever looking for Felicity? Anyone. She's never here.
Yeah.
She has gone away with Greg. I mean, I had a hat, I brought balloons, and then she is going off. You know what? They're probably having sex right now.
Yeah.
Ben does not want to hear that.
Ben doesn't want to hear any of this, but I'm really enjoying the consistent way they're having these two characters interact with each other
Yeah.
because Megan answers the door, obviously very annoyed. And she's like, whoa, why are you at this door? And Ben's like, whoa, whoa. I do not, Felicity. It's like, you said yeah. Like I knocked on the door. I said, Felicity, you said yeah. She's like, I didn't say yeah. I said what? It's just like they've got this cadence with these two, like in the scene where Ben sort of jokingly and insultingly invited her to the paint party
Yeah.
and he was like lots of paint to sniff. Like it's just they have this weird like
Banter style.
yeah, it's like a brother sister like almost thing. It's weird now.
Yeah.
I think Megan has grudgingly accepted that this is the future.
People are going to keep
Or
banging on the
maybe hopes
door.
it's the future so that that means Greg's not in Felicity's picture anymore. I don't know.
Or
Um,
Greg's not in Felicity's. No, never mind.
yeah, well, he should. That's because then she can have him, right? Like
Right.
she would, if Ben is to be, then Greg is not to be, and Megan can
Yes.
have him. So it's like maybe I just need to like live with this. And Ben, obviously, Megan's a necessary evil if you're in his position. So they just sort of like despise each other, or they're like disturbed by each other, but they accept that they have to be.
I don't feel like Ben despises Megan. I mean, he despises Greg. Megan, he's just a little annoyed with. It
Yeah.
is kind of like a little sister
Like
tantrum
I
type
put up with
thing.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they
And
rib
he's
each
like,
other.
look, yeah, he's like, look, Megan,
But I'm secretly
I don't care.
feeling, yeah.
He's just like, look, Megan, I can't deal with you right now. Just where'd she go? Just tell me where she went. Where did she go? And Megan grudgingly says that they've gone off to a little B&B in Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
And and apologies to Melissa. She would like to vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we're going to cut to Felicity and Greg actually driving to said B&B.
And here I have to say again, great song for this scene. It was this really like melancholy song that was talking about like letting me go. And I thought it was just perfect for this scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you've got the two of them in a car together. It's Greg and Felicity, and they're heading up to this B&B
Mm-hmm.
out of town.
Yeah.
And she is slumped over on the side of the door, like leaning her head against the window. She is not excited, she's not anything. And she just kind of looks over to Greg and is like, "You were right about Ben."
Ben did it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. It's like she has physically escaped the situation, but she took it with her because it's all in her brain. So it's
Well,
like there's no getting away from this.
I honestly think she's heartbroken.
Mm.
She had this whole thing going on with Ben, even though she's dating someone else. Let's all remember that.
Hmm.
But I think she's heartbroken. She's like, I was feeling the possibility again with Ben,
Hmm.
and he has 100% let me down.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'm feeling about Greg in this scene. Um,
Okay.
why don't you tell me how you're feeling about Greg?
Well, let's talk about what Greg actually does. So she drops this on him, but honestly, he already knew. So like he had come to this conclusion in the first scene where he told her it could only be Ben. But he can see how it's affected her in the way that she's delivering this. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You know what? Let's just forget about Ben. We're getting away. This is our trip. This is, like he's like, let's shake this off and move forward. And I guess if that's what you see in this scene, I think he wants to put this away right now. I think he needs, I don't know what he's thinking will happen when he gets back from Rhinebeck, not only with Ben, but with every single person in the entire school and like his health center job. Like I think he's saying, I'm putting it on pause so I can take a deep breath and be away for this weekend. And I think he's a little bit in denial here about, I think he's a lot in denial here about the way Felicity's reacting to this. And he probably should be more concerned about how hard this is hitting her. And I think she is still not asking him how he's doing.
Yeah.
And all of these things should be major red flags for him. But he is saying, I'm putting this whole fiasco on pause because we can at least have a nice however many days in Rhinebeck and or one night or however long. And when we go back, we'll deal with the like whatever the aftermath is of all this. Um, that's my thought. I think it's um a almost impossible to execute strategy. Like I don't know how you could have all this happen and then just like put it away for a couple days. But I thought, it had he like had he pulled like a U-turn like off the cliff, try to like turn around and drive straight to Ben's place to beat him up. I feel like that wouldn't have looked good. Like I think I'm glad that he continued heading the trajectory that he was on to Rhinebeck, but I don't feel great about where Greg's at right now. What did you
Yeah.
feel about all this? Did you see the same stuff?
I can see that. I guess what hit me initially is he's he's known about this connection that Ben and Felicity have.
Mhm.
And he's becoming, it's coming up more and more and more. And I do think, he sees her not excited about this weekend. He'd already said what's going on at the party, right?
Mhm.
And Felicity in her panicked way was like, we gotta get out of here. Um, and I just, he's saying forget about Ben. Let's just, not talk about it. But I think he knows at this point that,
She's not going to forget about Ben.
yeah, that she is like heartbroken by this guy. Like this is the girl he's taking. This is the position she is in, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, going out of town, I mean, it does mean sex, you know?
Mhm.
They're they it seems like they have not had sex yet. And I don't know how I'm feeling about that, both for him and for her, because the last thing I think he needs right now is to get more involved in this relationship.
Mhm.
And he'd be doing it with someone who is into another guy, or is now what, trying to get over another guy.
Yeah.
um it seems like a really bad idea for
Yeah.
them to be going away. um but he's also had this whole macho thing going with
Yeah.
Ben.
Mhm.
And so I'm also kind of like, is he somewhere in the back of his head, like hoping to kind of literally stick it to Felicity and bend through that?
I don't think so. I think that, well, look, hey, listeners, I know you hate Greg, so you have probably a scathing review of Greg and the worst possible interpretations. I think that Greg is trying to hold on to some semblance of his world. Like, things are really shaken up for him right now in every arena.
I
Like,
wouldn't want to be in town if I
I
was
can
him.
see why he would want to flee. I don't know if I feel like he maybe I think it's a flight reflex to some degree with him. He's maybe it's such a strong flight reflex at this moment that even though things are not looking like they're headed in the right direction with Felicity based on everything that he's been seeing, he just still needs to get away. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't understand why he didn't go by himself or go with a friend. He really should have gone with a friend or his sponsor.
well,
Um,
we've never met. The only person we've ever met in his world is Andre, right?
yeah, but
Andre
I
does
mean,
not seem like the guy you go to a Rhinebeck
yeah,
B&B with.
no, but he didn't have to go on this trip, right?
You're
Like,
saying like
he could
Atlantic
have gotten
City.
out of
Yeah.
town. It could have been off camera, but
Yeah.
like the two of them,
That's the
uh,
problem with the fact that they just haven't built out his world at all for us. Like, he had nobody else for us to like think that he would go with. Maybe he would have gone on his own. I don't know. It didn't seem like he was headed in that direction, but we also don't get a lot of time to think about what he would have done.
well,
I
he would have stuck around because they were going to have dinner in town,
mm,
right?
yeah. So
I
I
mean, I
don't
guess it
know.
didn't have to be that weekend.
I think I think that his eyes have been somewhat open to the Felicity and Ben dynamic, or at least to Ben's pursuit of Felicity this whole time, or at least that Ben is hanging around too much.
Mhm.
I think that Felicity has consistently been like, Ben's not a thing, Ben's not a factor, not that's not a thing. And I don't know if he fully believes that or if he ever has. I'm not sure. Um, but this has been an issue from day one.
Yeah,
For from the moment he met Felicity, he met Ben. So it's
yeah.
sort of like, I don't know. At a certain point, I do think it's piling up. Um,
I just don't see how he doesn't see the connection between her saying you were right about Ben, her like body language, her like panic to get out of there, you know, like I just don't see how this hasn't added up for him, at least by this car ride.
But even if it has, so if you're in the car, if you've gotten as far as you have in this car, and he does, she drops this news on him, and he does see the connection, does he even want to deal with that right now?
I
Can
don't
they
see
just
anything.
have a weekend where he can they put this on pause? I feel like this is a guy that wants to put things on pause for a moment because he's going to deal with holy hell when he gets back to campus, no matter what.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know that he's necessarily super eager to turn the car around and go back to campus where every single person now knows
Yeah.
the worst things he's ever done that he's been trying to reform himself from. So it would be one thing if that's not the situation he was going back to. But in this situation, it probably seems like this possible weekend in Rhinebeck is better than that. Like it's
Yeah.
some
Maybe
to
this
some
is
degree an
like
escape.
get 2 rooms, or like have 2 beds, or somebody sleep on the couch, maybe. This just doesn't seem like the right moment to take a new step in your relationship.
Yeah.
And
Well,
also, can I ask, WTF with Ben?
okay. So we close this episode. Ben is at the train station and he says, like a ticket to Rhinebeck. Um,
Yeah, again, WTF, Ben?
mhm. I have literally no clue how he's going to figure out what bed and breakfast they're at.
Well, yeah, that's one.
I mean, I know that's not the only problem here, but I found myself because I know
But
what's
I
coming
did
ahead.
wonder that
But I find
when,
myself wondering, like, if your source of information on this was Megan,
right.
who we saw what she said to you. She said bed and breakfast Rhinebeck. I
Yeah.
imagine there's more than one bed and breakfast in Rhinebeck. So how on
I
earth
assume, I don't know how big Rhinebeck is, but I am assuming he probably, could call
called every bed and
around.
breakfast
Yeah.
and said, "Tell me exactly who's staying at your bed and breakfast
No,
this
he
weekend."
he would say, like, I have
Ugh.
my friends, I'm trying to locate them. It'd be under this guy's name.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, maybe that's what he did.
Um,
That
but
that is a plausible explanation. Thank you, Fish, for me letting me get back to the meat of what's actually happening here.
but like, what is he thinking? Like, he's just done this, and she is off at a bed and breakfast with another guy, and you're buying a ticket to go stalk the two of them? Like, I don't have anything other to say than the WTF, Ben.
This probably, it's interesting to hear how you're reacting to this. This probably would land totally differently if Ben hadn't just done the thing he did,
Yeah,
right? But he did do that thing.
he did.
So
He
it's
absolutely
like,
did.
this is
He did
not
all the
exactly a
things.
romantic gesture. This is an uncalled for gesture. Like,
Yeah, one that
it's a lot.
really wouldn't be welcomed by both parties that you are going
Yeah.
to see. Note there are 2 of them.
I wonder, hey, listeners, like do you remember how you felt when you saw this or how you feel now when you see this? The did you feel like, yeah, Ben? Or were you like, leave her alone for a minute? Like what,
Yeah.
like where did this land for you? I'm curious how this came across for viewers. I mean, I guess we know what they're intending. They're trying to
But I
push
can't
this forward.
imagine this goes well for him.
I just have so many things I want to say, but I'm not because you're going to.
Yeah.
This episode, frankly, like if I look at this episode, should be to be continued. Um,
Yeah, it felt like that.
it feels like that to me too. I don't know what makes them decide to make something a to be continued or not. I don't know if that changes like pay or like I don't know what that actually means. But in terms of this story, we pick up shortly thereafter, and everything that you're wondering about will be addressed. So
Yeah.
it's like I do not that I know that putting the words to be continued on the screen would make you feel any less
Right. It's
uh
still a cliffhanger
yeah, it's
ish.
definitely like you're riled up and you still would be, but I wanted you to know that you're going to get everything addressed. And like I
I
think
would
saying to
hope
be
so.
continued
Because
Yeah.
I mean, if he asks for a ticket and like the next scene is the guy at the ticket place saying like, "Sorry, we don't have any," and then he just goes back to school, that
Can
would
you
be like
imagine?
that would be so anticlimactic.
Can you even
Like
imagine
no
that?
answers whatsoever.
Sorry, buddy, we're closed. We're going to be back on Monday, though.
We've discontinued that line.
Yeah. Um,
Sorry.
yeah.
So
Here.
I mean, okay, so I understand that we have a lot of people who are really into Ben. I also understand that I have been very critical of Noel and have, you know, I was like on the fence with Ben was like coming back and I was like, I don't know, I just can't trust him yet.
Mhm.
This is not helping,
No, this wouldn't
by the
help.
way.
This
This is not helping.
and here's the thing about it. So there's going to be stuff that happens, and I feel like Mary Berrigan might have even sort of had a similar point of view in the email that we had read last episode. There's stuff that they're going to do with Ben's character in junior year, in particular, maybe in senior year. That for me, I'm like, I don't really buy it. Like, I don't necessarily feel like that's representative of what we know about Ben. And sometimes that's stuff that people get really hung up on. And I'm like, I actually think that was bad writing. And I don't believe that he would do that in a story for the person they've constructed. I do,
You're talking
however,
about the
in the
stuff
future,
in the future.
in the
Okay.
future,
But not this.
this, I believe. I believe that he did this. I believe
agree.
that I understand how they walked this character into taking this action. I also believe that he is very remorseful of it almost immediately. I believe all of that. So
Yeah.
for me, this feels like an accurate thing, and just shame on him, you know? So
Yeah.
I think I do want you to throw this into the mix of your interpretation of Ben. There will be stuff in the future that it's like, that was crappy, but I just, so
No, I
it's
fully
that
believe
quandary
this.
of like, you know, somebody, it's written into the show, so it's a thing, but is it? This is for me.
Yeah. And for me it's a little like kind of what Felicity said when she, you know, broke into his file and she was like,
Mhm.
I was insane. I was in love with you. And it's like, he's insane. I mean, part of this is just like, he's lost it. Like,
Just
he has
total
just
panic.
freaking lost it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what else to do, I'm guessing. Like, he can't just stay there on
Yeah.
campus and like not get this off his chest. But what could he possibly say when he gets there? I mean, I guess I'll find out next episode, but like, I can't even imagine.
You will indeed find out next episode. Yeah.
Yeah. But I
It,
also understand, as you've said, many people hate Greg. And so, and I had a lot of people to choose from this episode. And this maybe isn't the best episode for the people who are listening to us, for us to debut the You're the Worst,
mhm.
but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do you want to throw that segment in here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I, you're the worst.
Hmm.
Maybe that's our new, I'll workshop it. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be good. Well, why don't you do a few more? Just go ahead. Give people a few taste.
Do you want a few options? I'm going to forget all of them.
That's fine.
You're the worst.
Okay.
Or you're the worst.
Oh, that was the worst. That was definitely the worst of the three.
Came from, can that be it though?
Old British lady.
You're the worst. I'll remember it.
Okay. Yeah, if you could workshop it and just make it like a little more what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little more judgmental.
You're the worst.
No, she can still be British.
Oh, we're really like coming to the edges of my ability to do accents. You get what you get, okay, Fish?
All right,
you can't order this up like a custom pizza, right? for Free Pizza Friday.
Fine.
Well, we'll keep working it
We'll
through.
work
It's
on it.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We haven't found
Um,
it, but it's okay.
yeah. So yeah, this is the You're the Worst segment. And Ben, you're the worst. I mean, you illegally obtained information about Greg and then was were actively seducing his girlfriend while she was running against him for president, then revealed information about his addiction history to the entire school via Richard. Then you convince Felicity to break the law again. You potentially cost Greg the election, and you helped Richard co-win, which is never a good thing. You lied directly to Felicity's face, not just on the spur of the moment, but after debating it with your roommate, Sean. Now you're going to run after her to keep her from sleeping with another guy, the guy she's dating, the guy you just told everybody all his personal information. And worst of all, maybe not worst of all, but like the stuff with Greg was really bad. But like for us, worst of all, you also broke Felicity's heart again. Ben, you are the worst.
Okay.
Sorry.
Listeners,
I gotta
I know this is a controversial start to our You're the Worst segment because we know, we get it. You love Ben. You hate Greg. We hear you. But I think we'd all be a little hard pressed not to acknowledge that what Ben did in this episode was a poopy thing to do. It breaks my heart. I love Ben. Yeah. You know, I don't want Ben to do stuff like this, but he did it.
And it's on a per episode basis, so it can change.
Your behavior, might be different next time.
Yeah. There's room for that. Had we been doing this several episodes again, it would have been Greg, you're the worst. But in this episode,
this was a lot.
I thought of this segment before I saw the episode. So
and then it just slipped right in there. Well, I gotta say, I think, you can make a case for Richard being the worst, but I think Ben is like, this is the biggest shift. Like, you expected Richard to be really bad, and I think this is a pivotal bad action.
Richard Ben did do a bad thing, but Ben did like
the worst.
Let's remember, he's also seducing his girlfriend.
Yeah.
He also broke into the file to get the information in the first place.
Yeah.
He's also running off to try to break them up on their vacation to get away from him.
Yeah.
And what he's done, like, for this episode, he's the worst.
Okay.
But you know who's not the worst?
Who?
Tracy.
Okay. You want to do Elena Tracy stuff now?
I feel like we need to.
Let's do it.
I need a little
lightness.
Positive vibes in here.
Well, I've been telling you that they make it complicated.
Yeah, this complicated. Is not where I thought they were going with this.
Yeah, I was curious. Well, let's cover this and see what your reaction is. So the first thing that we're going to see with either of those characters is we are going to see at Nolena's apartment. Elena and Julie are having a conversation, and Elena's trying to think about a cool date that she can do with Tracy because their relationship is starting to advance, and she wants like the big romantic one. So she's getting Julie's feedback, and she's like, should we go to the top of the Empire State Building? And Julie, being from Maine, she's like, you know what you should do? You should have a date right here with lobster and beer. Yep. And Elaine's like, really?
That's the sexiest date ever.
No, that's what she's
Lobster
suggesting.
and beer.
Yep. And
Okay.
so that's
She's still working on the wallpaper, by the way.
yeah,
That's still a thing.
that's still a thing indeed.
And also just yes to Elena with the braided buns. Love
Mm-hmm.
it.
Okay.
Love it. I did not love the fact that Elena and Tracy were kissing for like an hour and we didn't get to see any of it.
Yeah, so they've had that. You were asking in the last episode, like, have they had that milestone? Because we haven't seen them kiss. And apparently they have. It happened off screen.
Yeah, not
And
cool.
they just recently had a date, but he didn't come up.
Well, he was a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't going to ask him to come up. It's just, he also didn't ask to come up. So now she's in her head.
Yeah.
And Julie's like, don't do that. Don't make this a problem. You got
Like,
a nice
he's
guy.
respectful of you.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. And this is the point where I went, oh my God, he's gay.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
the ride they took you on here. Okay. I was
Yep.
going to ask. So after Julie kind of like lays that down, she's like, do not make his respect for you an issue. And so Elena's like, okay, well, okay, so you're saying lobster and beer, huh? She's like, is this pot big enough for 2 lobsters? She was like, yep, it's perfect. And so Julie's going to take care of Noel, get him out of the apartment. Although
I have 2 giant exclamation points after the word no.
well, I also want to reflect on the times of day that all this stuff is going to happen because when Julie is later going to take Noel out of the apartment to walk through a flower market during the day.
Bright daylight. Yeah.
Was that useful?
I also don't know why he was with her at a flower market. Like, because usually you have to go really early to those things to get the best flowers. Also, why was she at a flower market holding like 1 tulip?
Yeah. So, but we'll get there in a minute. Let's see. Okay. So, next time we see any of these people, so Noel and Elena's place, Tracy and Elena are making out.
Yes, they are. Finally. And that's what I wrote down. Finally.
So
and I was like, well, why is he's still with the gay? What?
Okay, so now they've taken you on a total confusing ride here. Okay, so
very confused at this point.
They're making out. It looks like it's getting pretty hot and heavy, and then Tracy is about as discombobulated as we've ever seen him here.
Yeah, he's like, "Ooh, gotta go."
Yeah, total flight reflex.
Yeah,
and Elena's trying to get some understanding of why this is happening, and he's like so panicked that he can't really put together anything that lines up. It's very clear he's just making up excuses.
He attempts to lie, and he's so bad at it, which actually is really cute.
But yeah, he's like, I gotta get up in the morning. Carol Lanning, we're helping with posters. Yep. She's like, aren't you voting for Felicity? He's like, but yeah. It was just very obvious.
Yeah. He's super uncomfortable. He can't make a coherent sentence. All the blood from his brain has gone somewhere else, which again did not make sense with the gay thing.
Yeah.
And I see Elena there and she just looks hurt.
And yeah, she's a little angry, she's a little hurt. She's definitely confused.
She's very confused.
Like, why did this guy who's always been like the only thing we've ever seen about Tracy is him being confident and funny and cocky, and then there's this version of him which doesn't really line up with anything we've ever seen. So she's like, who was that just now?
Yeah, because he's still in that, he jumps up, he's uncomfortable, he's lying, but he's still kind of trying to play it off. Mm-hmm. Like he's just sort of like when he first jumps up, I saw her being hurt. I mean, you look around that room and you have roses and candles and music, and she has just cooked lobster for him. Mm-hmm. And she's looking good, and they're on the couch, and she just looked so hurt.
Yeah.
And he is trying to play it off, but then he like gets serious for a second. Mm-hmm. He's like, but seriously, dinner was great. Mm-hmm. It's like he's being really sincere. He's clearly holding something back.
Yeah, and she can see that.
And then she looks super confused because she's like, And I also was super confused because I
Okay.
was like, okay, he's into her, he's leaving, but he's like being sincere, like something's going on.
Hmm. So Elena's going to speculate about what that thing is in the next scene, where they're going to run into each other. Well, Tracy's seeking her out at the stairwell. Elena is now pissed.
Yeah,
She's had time to think about this, and she's
as
like,
I
"Shame
would
on you."
be.
And Tracy's like, "Let's talk." And she's like, "I'm having it out with you right here." And he's like, "Can we not in this stairwell? Because I have to talk with you, and this is not where we're doing this."
Yeah.
And it was far more composed than he was when he was panicked and leaving the room.
Well, yeah, she's the one who's freaking out. She's like, she's pissed, she's counting to 10, and she just turns on him and she's like, "You're breaking up with me." Like, I get it.
Because, and she says, "Are you sleeping with Carol, like Carol Manning, like the candidate, the
Right.
one who was supposed to, like, theoretically cover
Or make
story, be making posters
posters
for?"
with.
He's
Yeah.
like, "No, sleeping with Carol." Now, if you're Tracy in this situation, and Fish, if you now know what you know by the end of the episode,
Right.
her speculation that he's sleeping with Carol is cold, ice
Right.
cold,
But
not warm,
he,
not hot, cold.
yeah, but he makes it like he hits that. Like he said, he looks surprised that she would say that. And then he specifically says, "No, I'm not sleeping with Carol Manning." Like he hits sleeping.
Mhm.
And it's like, so are you doing something else with Carol Manning? Like, what is
Yeah.
going on? Like, I don't understand. Yeah.
So it sounds like on a first glance, this episode was written in a way that took you down the exact same ride that Elena was on.
No, I thought he was gay.
Okay, well, okay,
I mean, until later, and then I was like, I don't know what's going on because
okay.
he was like sincere, and I don't think he's like cheating. Like, I didn't. I honestly, I was like, I don't know. Like, he could be an alien.
Hmm.
Uh, I've got nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, so next scene with them, we're going to go back to Elena's. And Tracy and Elena are having the talk that they were supposed to now have. And Tracy reveals that not only is he a virgin,
Hmm.
but like he's super religious and he's not going to like it's not just that it hasn't come up, it's that he's not going to have sex until he is married.
Yep.
And this at first this confuses Lana because she's like, "But didn't your parents have you before they got married?" He's like, "And none of us want me to make the same mistake,"
Yep.
which is an interesting, very mature angle to look at that. Like,
Well, I mean,
um,
he says both of his parents are religious, and it's the way he was brought up, um, which Elena completely ignores and is
mhm,
like, birth control.
mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
what about the religion part?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, she's very like flippant about this. She's like, no one waits for marriage. Like, I don't know anyone who's waiting for marriage. And he just kind of gives her a look and is like, well, yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He said, take your time with it.
yeah,
Go
she's
think
like,
about it.
I need to think about this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And but I will say the way that he delivered this, I also found a little much. So I didn't like how Elena just like ignored his actual reasons and then was like really dismissive of
Mm-hmm.
him as her first reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also don't like exactly how he delivered this. I mean, he starts out good. You know, he's like, "You were irresistible. Like, if I'd stayed, something would have happened." And she was like, "Yeah." And then he gets this kind of judgmental face when she's like, "Yeah, it was habit. Like, that's what we were doing."
Mm-hmm.
And he does have this like really judgmental face for a moment. And
It's like, I don't do
then
that.
he like comes out and says it. He's like, he doesn't even want to say the word sex.
Yeah, he's uncomfortable. It seems like he's uncomfortable saying the word sex. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Sex. I don't do sex.
Yeah.
Um,
But but he
It's
seems pretty judgmental about it. I think they end well where she's like, okay, let me take a step back. I need to think about it. And he's like, okay, take your time. Like they end well, but neither of them have, he doesn't deliver it well and she doesn't take it well, like
Mhm.
at first. Which probably is realistic. But it
Well, and think
definitely,
about it. Like her sex life has been relatively important to her. Like
yeah.
we've seen her with Blair.
But we also know she has been experienced before
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
from
we
high
haven't
school.
seen a lot of relationships with her, but we know she has experience.
And
And
her experience has been purely sexual,
yeah,
right? For the most part. It's like she didn't want to get involved with all the feelings and stuff. And now she's doing that and she's getting involved with all the feelings and stuff. And she's like, you know, I mean, it's kind of funny that they put her in this position.
right. And that's what makes it really interesting because it's like they are in every other way so far extremely compatible and really good match for each other. And in this way, they want the opposite thing. And there isn't really a compromise exactly to be made based on like they how we think they are when we're starting out this conflict.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on what they decide is okay, I guess.
Well, yeah. So Elena's going to think about it for, I don't know, overnight or however much time until they have their next scene.
It took her a little while, but I mean, I will say she took her time
Hmm.
getting ready for this second talk. Like her hair, I gave an A plus. Her
Hmm.
makeup with that eyeshadow, A plus. Outfit, A plus. She is showing up looking killer.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, you are not fair. You
Yeah.
show up looking like that, and he like can't even look at her. He's like must stare at pinball machine.
Yeah.
You
So there,
show up looking like that to
yeah.
deliver this message?
Yeah.
Oh,
And this is why this is such an interesting thing because she's going, despite the effort, she's going to say to him, I've taken some time to think about this, and I think let's be friends.
that is not a let's be friends look.
Well, it's not nothing about the rest of the scene is let's be friends, right? Because then he's like, okay, friends. She's like, friends, friends,
He's
friends,
like,
friends, friends. And then they hug and then they kiss.
yeah. He's
Like
like,
friends don't kiss
you've
like
made up
that.
your mind.
Mhm.
I'm not going to waste my time and energy trying to change your mind. And he
Mhm.
just sort of turns to her and is like, friends? And she's like, yep, friends. And then they just keep getting closer and closer and closer. And he's, yeah, like she's not running away. I mean, he's not, look, he's been honest with her. She's been honest with him. And yet their tongues are touching. So I can't even imagine where this is going to end up.
Right? Yeah, that's why it's supposed to be complicated like this because the truth of the matter is that they're both just saying like they want something completely or need something completely different from this relationship. By her saying let's be friends, she's saying I'm not that doesn't work for me,
Hmm.
right?
And
And it's
yeah,
not like this kiss changes that.
nope.
So what happens from here? Well, you're just gonna have to keep
Just stay
watching.
tuned, I guess.
Yeah. They
But
have
that's
set
why
up
I said it depends on what they decide is okay. I
if
mean, what
yeah.
does he mean by virgin?
Well, we're gonna just have to explore all the crevices of this and figure out what this all means and
That was dirty.
what this gets them to. Yeah. So okay. I think that's everything we saw with them. So Ruby and
Yeah.
Noel are the only other thing here. And we don't get a lot necessarily with them, but we get some major milestones here.
Hmm.
Um, the first time we see them, so Noel he's using his computer, he's designing or working on the designs for Felicity's campaign posters. Ruby arrives. And I guess she just came back from Colorado. from her trip to tell her parents that she's pregnant. So Noel's just getting the scoop because he hasn't heard about what's happened. He doesn't know how they reacted. And so he wants to hear about it. And Ruby's telling him, well, my parents didn't react quite the way I would have thought. My mom totally shut down. My dad was really sweet.
Well, my dad drank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then he was really
but
sweet.
also was sweet.
Yeah. And he's like, well, how did you tell him? She's like, well, I got off the plane, saw them. I was like, I'm pregnant. Can you imagine? Like probably at the airport, or
probably.
like the pickup line for the car. I don't know. And then he asks her about the father, and she says, Ruby hasn't called him yet. We find out that the father's name is Wade.
Sure. Wade from California.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Ruby's not planning to call him. And at this moment, Noel doesn't really have any context for any of this. So he's like, just kind of takes it at face value, and they, I guess, move on.
He looks concerned when she says she doesn't plan to. I think he looked concerned.
Okay.
But then
but we don't really see more. They don't really develop a lot more in this conversation.
Not about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very pointed that she then says, I missed you.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at her with these very like wide eyes, almost like lost looking look, which was very weird to me, but he does not say it back to her.
Okay. All right. So we are going to see Noel next with Julie at some sort of plant store during the day where Julie is distracting him from Tracy and Elena's date, maybe during the day. I don't know.
I don't know what's happening here.
But they're just hanging out. They're comparing notes on whether they're sugar or salt people.
Yeah.
We seem to agree sugar is the way forward. Mm-hmm. They talk about lick sticks. They, they're just bonding over the silly things until they get to the big one. Ruby comes up as a topic.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie's asking about this. And I was like, well, she told her parents. Seems like that went pretty well. And then he says, like, Ruby hasn't called the father. And Julie does have an opinion about this that she's going to articulate. Yeah. She has a point of view on this that she's lived as the kid, who's didn't have the luxury of the mother calling the father or telling the father. So Julie's like, Ruby has to call the father. It is not easy for a kid to look for their dad. It is a huge burden. And like, the thing is, Noel is saying, well, when they get older, they can call the dad. And she's like, like, I'm here to tell you that's not it. Like, you want another kid to go through what I'm going through right now. So she has a pretty clear perspective that she articulates here, and she's lived through it.
And he seems pretty convinced. I mean, I sort of put that he has a thinking face after he listens to her, but, he seems, she's been through it. It's kind of hard to argue with that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't really argue with Julie's perspective because it's Julie's life, but it's like, okay, well, how much of that does he bring back to Ruby? How much of that does he take on board? And it does seem like he
quite a lot.
Yeah, because then he has we see a conversation between Noel and Ruby where not only is Noel passing along that advice, but he's personalizing it too. Mm-hmm. And we get the sense that they've been talking for a while. They're both sitting down. It looks like they've been there for a bit. And he's like, I really do think that you gotta tell Wade. And she's like, what? And he's like, well, you're being selfish. And she's like, selfish? How could I be selfish here? I'm not asking him to be involved. And he's like, yeah, and you're cutting him out of the process, just like you did with me.
And remind me, am I missing something here? Because I kind of felt like she was specifically asking him what to do at certain points. And she told him all along the way, and everything that he said was, it is all up to you. Like
Um,
he said that multiple times.
I would say when he's saying this, I interpreted that what he was referring to of, you mean like cutting him out of the process?
Mhm.
I think the moment he's referring to is the fact that she decided she was not going to get an abortion. She
Yeah, but
decided that on her own.
he said it's your decision, like
He said
so
it,
many times.
he said it after. Like I feel
Well, he
like,
said it before even
yeah.
went in for the appointment. He was like, "Look, I can't make this decision for you," and she was like, "I want you to make this decision." You know?
But I'm thinking of a conversation they had back in his apartment where she's like, uh, maybe the conversation where she had just booked a prenatal appointment and she's like, well, what do you think? And he's like, I feel like I don't want this to be my life. I feel like you're just going ahead with this. I feel like I think that as much as he might have said that, I think his best outcome was for her to have an abortion. That's what he was aiming for. And she made a decision to do something else. And I think that's what he means here. Whether or not we can poke holes on that is another thing altogether. But I think if we're trying to figure
Yeah.
out what he means when he says this, I think that's the only thing it could be because I took the pregnancy test where they were together for that. So like he was there for that part.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's the only thing he probably could mean when he's saying this.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
just
different
don't think that's
context.
quite accurate though, because she was very much like, I feel like I need to have this kid. It's up to you, like what you want to do about that. I mean, I can't, like, even if he thought that was his best outcome, right?
Mhm.
Is it fair for him to say, you're cutting me out,
Well, and
when
the
what
other
he
thing
would
that
be
he could
doing
mean,
is asking her to have an abortion, which he said was her choice?
well, and the other thing that he could mean here is that she never told him that he wasn't the father or could potentially not be the father. So, like, he has a very different type of decision on his plate if he knows that she's having this kid, but it may not be his. And so maybe that's what he means here.
It's like you're cutting him out just like you did me.
It may not be a direct parallel, but if we're trying to figure out in what way Knowles thinks that he was cut out of the process, I think it's going to be one of those two things.
For me, it was just a big question mark. I was like, really, Noel? I don't think you were cut out of this process. You were very much involved in this whole process.
Well, she definitely didn't tell him that he might not be the father.
Yeah, I still attribute that to exactly what she said, which is it didn't even occur to her.
Yeah, I don't believe that like how could it not? Like I think okay, maybe, but it she had sex with more than one person. This major thing was happening. Noel was agonizing over it and he never was even informed that it could possibly be from another guy. I think how could you just not remember? Um
That's what she said, though. And like, I take her at face value for that. I don't think she's lying about that. Because
yeah,
she was shocked. She looked shocked when that was revealed to her
but she instantly knew in the doctor's like she
after she heard it.
immediately knew when that who it was. Like it wasn't like she was blacked out drunk and doesn't even remember it ever happening. She was with it. She knew. Um, so I
Well,
think
it occurred to her after the doctor had said it. But I'm just saying, like, how can you inform someone of something that doesn't occur to you?
yeah. Well, the problem here may be like him paralleling himself to Wade, but
Yeah.
he obviously in saying this, he's saying in some way he thought he himself was cut out of the process, and he's saying that he thinks Ruby not telling Wade would be cutting Wade out of the process. And what we think that means, your mileage may vary, but Ruby does appear to be listening. She's taking in, she's taking this in. Um, I don't know if she's considered I don't know if she's considered Wade. Like I think for her it's easier not to tell Wade. And I think um
He's making it a little harder. Noel's like, what happens when your kid wants to meet his father or her
mhm,
father?
yeah.
Kind of a
So
line
it
directly from Julie.
and it gives Ruby another thing to think about, another angle, because it's like, well, it's not just about what's easiest for you. Like, okay, what about your kid? Um And so it's something to ponder. And she's absorbing that, and I don't know if she loves that she's getting pushed back, but he's like, well, look, I'm your friend, but I might not always say things you want to hear.
Well,
um
I just want to go on the record right here as saying I really hope we get to meet Wade. I like really want to meet him. And I
your wish
feel
will
like,
come true.
yes, I feel like he should have like slightly shorter than shoulder length blonde hair and a leather jacket and be like really tan.
Mhm.
I don't know,
Okay,
that's just what I
well,
think
you're
of when I
gonna see
hear
Wade.
Wade.
You're not necessarily gonna see a lot of him, but you'll see him.
Okay.
So your wish will come true.
This makes me
Because
happy.
we do know the only other thing that we see that happens with this is that there's going to be a conversation with Julie and Noel at the election results party, um, where Noel says, Ruby called Wade. Thank you for
Mhm.
your wisdom, Julie.
Yeah, you're so wise.
She's like,
Julie's like, no one's
whoa.
ever called me wise before.
Yep.
And then they just have like a mutual love fest.
Oh.
And Noel's like, you know, or Julie's like, Ruby's so lucky to have you as a friend. You're so great to her. And Noel's like, actually, Ruby's so lucky to have you as a friend because this all happened because of you, and just like mutual admiration society for each other. And frankly, they both kind of need it. So fine, just don't kiss.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Well, that's we covered it. That's all the things.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a lot. This was an episode. This was an episode.
Well, they certainly, I think they pushed things forward fast, but was it clean? Like, it was like, we want to get from here to there super quick. But, there you have it. Um, so we're going to go into our favorite segment.
Yay.
After you listen to this tape, you have to erase it. And I'm gonna be honest with you all. So we have a lot of feedback that is not appropriate to share at this exact point in time, because it's either like something that lands much better around spoilers or is much better like looking back. But I wanted to pull up a couple things that are a bit of a just potpourri like you decide what made me decide to share it today. One thing that I'm going to read off here is from somebody we haven't heard from before. So I wanted to share some new feedback. At hawa.omar on Instagram says, who I think like sort of recently watched a series um, for the first time ever.
Mm.
And Hawa says, finally finished the series. Watching it as an adult, some parts were painstaking to watch. It's like, make up your mind, Felicity. I know I'll enjoy listening to the podcast. I do think there's relevance. I don't know if this is exactly what Hawa meant, but I do think we are very much in a make up your mind, Felicity moment. And yeah, I wanted to throw that one over to you, Fish. What are you feeling about Felicity right now?
She is everyone is in a rough spot. Like literally everyone except for Richard is in a rough spot. I mean, Ben, Noel, Ruby, Felicity, Greg, Sean, Julie, Tracy, Elena. like, Greg, did I say Greg? Because Greg is like everybody is in a really rough spot. Megan, I mean,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I guess I was on maybe the same page as Felicity, is kind of like letting Ben back in. And then he does this. And it's just like, what do I do with that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I still can't imagine what he's going to say to her. Like, he knocks on the door and she opens it. And what? He says, I'm sorry. Like, so what? He says, I love you. Like, I'm like having sex with another guy this weekend whose life you just ruined. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to have issues with whatever happens in the next episode. So like if she just takes if they start dating in the next one or two episodes, I think I might lose it.
Okay.
Because I do want them to date. I do. This is not the setup for a good, solid relationship.
Okay. Okay.
So I don't think it's really a make up your mind, Felicity. I think it's a like heal from your wounds and don't get sidetracked by like the the worst guy from this episode
Yeah.
coming to like do whatever he thinks he's gonna do by stalking you in Rhinebeck.
Mm-hmm. And at Hawa.Omar, I fully appreciate that this is not what you meant when you put this comment out there. But I did think this would be fun to really rile up Fish, which we have succeeded in. You and
Yeah.
me, high five. And so glad that you've watched the whole series, that you are part of the Felicity community. We're glad
Yay,
to
new
have you.
person.
Yep. Yep. Pretty awesome.
We love you.
And I've got one that's also even more random than that. Okay. But we put a question out a while ago about like Tony Pavone smoking so much.
Hmm.
I'm actually going to bring in two comments about this because at MP Rogar or at M Progar, I don't know. It could be either one. You tell me. Says on Tony Pavone, like she was great. I just wish she would have laid off the cigarettes. Well, at Insta.Mickey says, I saw an interview once with Amy Aquino and Carrie Russell that they said Amy actually had quit smoking years before, so it was tough on her, but she had to do it. It was scripted, so she would smoke herbal ones. Don't know what those are. I feel like I saw the same thing, and I feel like she hated them.
I can't
Um,
imagine she'd like them. As a former smoker myself and someone who has, say, relatively recently quit, um, and you can get those herbal ones like on Amazon. I've never tried them because what's the point? But like it is tough to quit smoking, and I feel so bad for her because it's like a habit you have and then it like makes you want to smoke again, and I can't even imagine that. Like the herbal ones probably just make you sick, and you're still gonna have all the issues with your lungs and stuff. So I mean, I just feel really bad for her.
yeah, and like every single scene, it was like Pavone smokes and talks to Ben. Pavone smokes and talks to like
And
the only time
imagine
she's
the
not
takes.
smoking is when she's trying to light up a cigarette.
Yeah, when she probably lost the lighter, that was just
Mm-hmm.
improv because she was like, I can't take it.
Like it was a move. It was like an actress trying to go into self-preservation mode, sort of thing. We lost the lighter.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
imagine all those times for all the takes that Carrie Russell doesn't eat things. There's no way to not smoke. Like the smoke has to be there.
yeah,
So, I mean, you can like not draw it into your lungs, but you're not going to get the like plume of smoke that comes out. Uh, she can't like fake smoke her way out of this. They could
yeah.
have put it like a little tiny smoke machine in her cheek.
Interesting. An interesting theory.
I feel like we should put that in front of Sean and see what he does with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you to all those who comment and all those who are listening. We love to hear what you have to say. Sometimes we address it very late. Sometimes we address it a little early. But it's always nice to hear from everybody and to be able to share your thoughts alongside ours. So that is that. But Fish, it's time for us to rate this episode.
I know.
And I'm not it, like finger on nose, you. This time you, because I am a bit
I came
unclear.
in saying like I don't know what's going on.
I know. This is hard to
I'm
rate
just
this one.
yeah, I'm like looking through my notes being like, what do I do? What do I do?
That's interesting.
Maybe I can give it like a range.
Oh no. Don't do that. Remember what happened when we tried to go back to the season recap last time and it had ranges and we had to make final decisions? Don't you do that to me, Fish. Don't you do it.
You said I could do anything I
You
wanted.
could do anything you wanted, but do you want to?
Yes.
Do you really want to make life that hard for us in our season recap?
Or you can go first.
Well, all right. I'm just going to pick a random number here. So my unit of measurement is going to be Rhinebeck B&Bs.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I thought I'd class up the joint a little bit here.
Yeah.
And
so confused.
I'm giving this a 6.7 out of 10. Why? I don't know.
I feel the same way. I'm like, there were funny parts, there were parts I didn't get, parts I didn't like. But
Let's be honest about some of the things this got dinged for. Okay.
Sally tape.
Sally tape. And I gave off a whole point for that. Wow. This only started out of a 9. Because so wait, not only did they
have whole point?
Yeah, normally it would be 0.5. And this time I had enough because not only did they say Dear Sally and have her talking to Sally at the beginning, they made her do voiceover as if she were talking to Sally on the same tape for the whole freaking episode. So that gets more off than 0.5. But then also political episode. I don't care.
Yep.
I don't care. And in the context of a political episode, they made every character do stuff that they would not normally do. Like Ben is egregious, but everybody was doing stuff in the name of a campaign that is pretty outside of what we've been seeing from them. So it's like you already
believe this. I believe all this stuff. I mean, I'm not saying they should have been doing it, but I do believe they all probably got caught up in it.
Yeah, I guess they did, right? But we have to put ourselves in the context of this episode, and I don't know. It's just so kind of out of the blue for me. But I think the political part of it is, a thing I don't normally look forward to. I think that, yeah, I do think that there are things in terms of the execution that left questions for you that I wish it didn't. So I feel like that's maybe they didn't always achieve their goals. Because I know where we're headed and I know what they're trying to set up. And it's like, well, so I don't know, 6.7 out of 10. Why? Because.
Yeah.
Does that give you any sort of anchor here to work with?
I am flummoxed. So here's my issue. I don't know what's coming next. So I don't know if I'm going to hate the next episode and I want to leave myself room to really hate it. But as much as I sort of poke things through this episode and was confused, I also liked watching it. There are some episodes, namely all those that involve David, that, I was actively bored and I was like, meh. But I liked watching this one.
I just want to say the amount of time we all spent talking about David. I continue to maintain that I think I'm the only person who gives David any bit of I'm a David apologist as much as I can be. Yeah. We spend so much time talking about David for a character that everybody was bored by. It's wild.
I mean, he's the measurement. He's true north.
I've seen that actor in a couple things recently that are old shows, and he just keeps coming up, and I'm like, oh my god, he's not really any better here. It's I don't know, Fish. I just, it's hard not to watch this other stuff knowing how boring everybody thinks he is from this. It's a thing that has now followed him into other roles for me.
Wow.
Anyway,
we have poisoned you against him as an actor.
Kind of. I saw some stuff with him in the OC and I was like, oh, I don't know.
Now you're boring.
But I don't know if he was meant to be boring there, but it was weird. But
it wasn't meant to be boring here either.
I wasn't bored by him. I think he was necessary to her growth as a person. Anyway, I have totally interrupted you and taken you off of the grid of your rating.
Not really, because I'm still thinking about it. Okay. I think I am going to give this one a 7. 7 out of 10 gloves.
Oh.
Because, as I said, for all the issues and ranting that I had, I did like watching it. I liked all the like Ben and Felicity stuff, even though I think everyone has very questionable morals
Yeah.
in this entire episode, and it leaves everyone in a worse place than where they started.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do think, like, I enjoyed watching it, and I thought the Tracy reveal was very interesting. I'm going to be interested in what happens there. I mean, I don't know if Megan's actually going to kill Felicity and just resolve all these issues. I mean, there could be so many things that happen next.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
I'll
Interesting.
give it a 7.
Yeah, we're kind of playing it safe on this one a little bit. I think it wasn't off the charts for us, but it
Yeah,
wasn't bottom of the barrel.
no,
They're
it's
still telling their
flummoxing.
story. So, okay, all right. So, hey, look, that's what we think, and I know that we put on our tinfoil hat a couple times here, our collective tinfoil hat a couple times, and look, you get to have a say in this too. So tell us what you think about this episode or any
Okay.
episode or anything at all. Tell us what you eat for lunch. I don't know. Tell us whatever moves you, and go ahead and write to us at themelissafish@gmail.com to tell us that. Melissa with one L, two S's, themelissafish@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Felicity Podcast. You might say things like, Melissa, you're leaving it far too wide open in terms of feedback on. And if you want to find out when we drop new podcasts, we send out an email when we do. And you can sign up for our newsletter to get those emails by checking out the show notes wherever you're listening to this podcast, looking for the link where it says newsletter and signing up there. And then, of course, while you're there, if you have the option to rate or review us, go ahead and do that, because the more of those that happen, the more people can discover this podcast and become part of this community and friends of yours. That's right. Friends of yours. So that's all the housekeeping items we have for today. But in the next episode, Fish is entitled.
I don't care what it's titled. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
It's okay. You can still say the title. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, the title is Ben Was Here.
Oh, like Felicity was here.
Mm-hmm. Except was Felicity Was Here? Was that the title of the final episode?
I think that was the finale.
Mm-hmm.
It was the penultimate episode.
Okay. So it's not the finale episode of this season, but it is a title.
Is it
of an episode this season?
Wait, no, I guess it's not the penultimate.
No, there's still
several
3 more after that. So,
all right, but Felicity Was Here. That was the finale where Felicity has to choose. And if Ben was here, Ben doesn't have a choice. I don't know. Okay. Honestly, I have no freaking clue. Ben's going to show up and he is going to try something.
Okay.
And I don't, if Felicity lets him get away with this, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say.
Well, I will say that when he's going to Rhinebeck. They're going to Rhinebeck. Everybody's going to Rhinebeck. Chances are there's going to be some sort of conversation that happens in Rhinebeck. So I would say, I think I sense a bit of concern from you about what's going to happen in Rhinebeck. And I think that somehow this show might thread the needle of what will work for you in terms of what's going to happen in Rhinebeck.
Okay.
What happens after Rhinebeck, I can't put any guarantees to you whatsoever.
Okay. So at least one more episode of potentially I don't have to lose my mind. And I can still be like, Felicity, you're talking to a dead woman, but you're still semi-sane.
Yeah, I think that the show knows that Ben just did a crappy thing. I think Ben knows it. I think Felicity knows it. I think Greg knows it. I think the show knows it. And they're not just going to be like, it never happened. Imagine a world where we never did that.
That would...
They're not going to magic it away.
That would bother me. Yeah. I was like, if we go back to the Force and they freaking throw cloves on Felicity and she's just in love with him, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, they're not going to do that. Are they going to do anything in a way that satisfies you? I'm not going to try to make a claim for that. Don't you try to make me make a claim for that. But everybody knows that Ben did something cruddy. All of us, including the writers. And so they're not just going to pretend it like isn't a thing. Okay. And I think that seems like a big concern for you. And I want you to know that that's not how that's going to play out. But
I can feel safe with this next episode.
With at least knowing that like Ben has some explaining to do. He has to answer for this.
Explain that.
I don't know. If you're Greg in this situation,
like if you're Felicity in this situation,
if you're Felicity in this situation,
Greg doesn't have to date Ben.
But still, Felicity is not Greg. Like Greg is the one who had this horrible thing happen to him. Like he is the victim in this situation.
Yeah, but he can just cut all ties with Ben and be like, out of my life, dude.
He can cut all ties with Ben, but he can't cut all ties with every human at the school and all of the administrators. Like, you know, Greg, I imagine. I mean, I guess in a world where Greg had to disclose this information to get the job at the health center, it makes me a tiny, tiny bit less nervous. But I'm really nervous for him. Like, and I only say tiny bit less nervous because it's like, well, they knew it, but if you've got it leaked now and it's out and it's like a thing, then it still could be something where the trustees are like, you know, it's not good press. We can't so even if they knew it.
No, this could absolutely ruin his life. And we have to remember he's also at that 2-year mark of addiction when a lot of people end up relapsing. So
I just really feel for Greg here. And I, again, apologize because I was like,
we have to apologize for saying nice things about Greg.
Because the last episode, I was like, I don't know how you're going to feel about him after Running Mates. And then you were like,
give him one more episode.
And I was like, what was I smoking? Because I don't like, what was I even thinking happened here? Because he's not, well, I mean, in the context of everybody's doing campaign hijinks,
sure,
I guess there's that, but like,
but in comparison,
like the person who does the wrongest thing, the wrongest of the wrongest things,
the worst person, the worst person is not Greg.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, that was not fair for me to plant that in your head. And I'm glad that you proceeded as if I never said anything.
I mean, look, my mind works in mysterious ways. I often forget everything. So yeah. Like I will get majorly spoiled on parts of this show and then like absolutely forget it before I've seen it this watch.
Yeah.
So like
cool. That's a good trait to have. So excellent.
Is it? Zero memory.
Yeah. I support you. I do.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, okay. Fish. I think we did it. Is there anything else we need to say about this episode?
No, can't say anymore. I started confused. I ended confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
This was upsetting. Well, that is the tone we are leaving all of you listeners with. Okay, that's how we're doing it. That's it. It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. We're going to leave you confused and upset. Until next time, Fish. Don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
Definitely won't now. I'm a fish.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.